What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto made harem with his stepsister? If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. Naruto Uzumaki, a young 16-year-old, blonde-haired teenager. The only child of a single mother named Kushina Uzumaki and her late husband Minato Namikaze, whom had passed away 2 years ago. Since then, Naruto had to help his mother make ends meet by getting an after-school job working at a convenience store. Even though the pay wasn't as good as he had hoped at first, it was the least he could do to chip in now that his father was gone. For a time, Kushina took her husband's death quite hard. She could barely even maintain her composure, which often led her to start drinking and smoking in secret while her son was out at school, work or even hanging with his friends. When Naruto eventually found out about this, he refused to let her destroy herself any further with her addiction and tried to convince to get help. While she frequently refused to do so, Naruto's persistence and concern for her health soon made her have a change of heart. Naruto, on the other hand, had his own personal problems following Minato's death. Such a loss had made him act depressed, bitter, antisocial and distant, which put him at odds with his friends for a while. He was also prone to losing his temper on occasion, snapping at almost anyone near him. But over time, he managed to overcome his internal pain thanks to some therapy sessions. Back when he was alive, Minato was the main head of the household. He handled all the bills, made sure that his wife and son were well taken care of and always looked out for them both, showing just how much he cared for their well-being. But thanks to the life insurance that Minato had gotten, their financial problems were slowly beginning to disappear. So far, it seemed like everything was gonna be fine. Or at least that's what Naruto believed. But he would soon begin to feel uncomfortable, especially since his mother decided to start dating again, which he felt was unnecessary. Fortunately for him, Kushina hasn't been so lucky in the dating biz, as the few guys she went out with proved to be incompatible with her interests. Despite all her bad dates, she refused to give up. Even though Naruto tried to talk her out of dating, she simply laughed at him and called him silly, playfully accusing him of being jealous, despite his many protests. While she was aware of her son's disapproval over her decision to date, Kushina stayed true to her choice. After 2 more disastrous dates, to Naruto's dismay, Kushina finally found a potential boyfriend. And he came in the form of a man named Inoichi Yamanaka, whom his mother had met one day while shopping at a grocery store. And the interesting part is, he's a single parent too, with a beautiful daughter named Ino Yamanaka, who was about the same age as Naruto. While he was none too keen about the idea of his mom having a boyfriend, Naruto knew he had to cope with it, even though it was really difficult. At this rate, all that mattered to him was keeping his mother happy, even if he disagreed with her decisions from time to time. But pretty soon he was going to learn a shocking discovery. One day while Naruto was watching something on TV in the living room, his mother soon came walking in through the front door with a happy smile on her face after coming back from another glorious date with Inoichi, claiming she had wonderful news. At least that's how she saw it, but what Naruto had just heard from her made him almost want to pass out from shock. "You're getting what?" screamed a shocked Naruto. "Sigh for the last time, Naruto, I told you that Inoichi and I are getting married," said an annoyed Kushina. This was the 4th time he had asked that question. But how, when did, where did this happen? How did this happen? "Well, we were having a nice and romantic dinner. We talked and laughed the whole night, we pretty much had fun. But then, when I came back from the restroom later, I went to take a sip of my drink and before I knew it, let me guess, you found out that he put a ring in your drink," Naruto said while rolling his eyes. "How did you know?" "Dad told me that's what he did when he proposed to you." "Oh, I see. But that's not the point. Look, I'm not being negative or anything, but don't you think it's a little too soon to get married again?" "What do you mean?" asked Kushina. "You've only been dating for 3 months, I just think that maybe you're rushing into this a little too fast. It's been 2 years since Dad died, and this is all happening so quickly. I'm just not too sure about this, Mom." Kushina placed a hand on her son's shoulder as she looked into his eyes. "Naruto, you know that I will always love your father no matter what, and I'll always miss him too. But there comes a time where I have to move on with my life, and pretty soon you will too. I know you're a little troubled by this, however, I would really love to have your support." Naruto had to admit that although he did feel rather disturbed by this notion, He couldn't really disagree with what his mother told him. He missed his father just as much as she did. He was like his hero, someone he could look up to, someone he could rely on for advice and spend quality time with. All in all, he had to let go of the past. "You're right, Mom. I'm sorry for freaking out like that. I guess I just wasn't expecting you to bounce back into marriage. It just came as a surprise to me," he said while hugging her. "It's okay, Naruto. I know, Mom, I know. All that matters to me is making sure you're happy. And if you really want to get married again, then I suppose I can get used to it." Quote. Kushina gave him a kiss on the cheek before pulling out of the hug. "Ah, that's sweet. And I'm sure you'll be happy when you meet your new stepsister." "Well, I'm looking forward to what?" "You heard me. Did you just say that I'll be getting a new stepsister?" "That's right. After all, you always said you wanted a sibling." "Yes, a sibling like a younger brother, or even an older brother." Giggles. "Oh come on Naruto, don't make such a big deal out of it. Inoichi's daughter Ino is really nice once you get to know her. I guarantee that you'll love her. Just because you say it like that, doesn't mean I'll get used to it," he remarked sarcastically. "Well, I hope you wise up soon, because you're gonna be sharing your room with her." "My room, as in my only getaway from the outside world?" "Yes." Naruto became as still as a statue. He just couldn't stomach the fact of having to give up his room just because he was being forced to share with a girl. He soon did the next thing that came to mind. No, 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 not that, anything but that. I'll do anything, I'll do extra chores, I'll even do the dishes every night. Please don't make me lose my room, please please," he screamed while falling to his knees with his hands clasped. Kushina started to become irritated. She always disliked how Naruto would frequently throw tantrums whenever something didn't go his way. While Minato usually gave in to their son's behavior, Kushina was always able to resist. And right now, she was at her limit. "Oh, stop being such a baby. You're 16 years old for crying out loud, so you need to start acting more mature. Honestly, I don't see what's so wrong about sharing your room with a girl. Hello, you're missing the big picture. If I share with a girl, then soon I'll be smelling perfume in the air, there will be girl magazines all over the floor, not to mention a mirror stand with a bunch of nail polishes, lip gloss, hairspray and so on. And all I'll be left with is just very little space." At this point, Kushina decided to try something drastic. "Naruto?" "Yes, what is it, Mom? Do you like eating ramen?" "Of course I do. I love ramen more than any other meal," he replied with a smile. "That's nice. But I'm thinking about having you cut back on it." "What, you can't be serious." She looked at him with a sly facial expression. "Oh, I'm serious, all right. The bottom line is if you don't learn to behave, then I'll cut you off from ramen entirely." "You're bluffing," Naruto countered. "Am I?" Naruto knew all too well that he couldn't win this round with his mother. She knew how much he enjoyed eating ramen for lunch and dinner every day. And the thought of being cut off from it made him feel uncomfortable. There was no way around it, and he was sure of it. "Well, what's it gonna be?" she asked. The blonde teen hesitated to make a reply. As much as he didn't want to share his room, there was no delaying the inevitable. He always hated it when Kushina would threaten to take away his favorite food if he refused to cooperate. "Fine, I'll do it," he muttered. "Sorry I didn't hear you, what was that?" she asked as while putting her hand to her ear. "I said I'll do it," he said more loudly. "That's better. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go take a nice and relaxing shower." She then turned and headed off for the stairs. Just as Naruto got back to watching TV, his mother glanced her head back to say something else. "And if I recall before, you previously had a girl in your room. And I believe that her name was Sakura Haruno," she said with a smirk. Naruto's eyes went wide after what he just heard. "That doesn't count," Naruto screamed. I'm pretty sure it does. And I also remember you sharing your bed with her. That was her idea, she was uncomfortable in the guest room. Ha 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 ha, oh Naruto. There's no need to get embarrassed, you're already at the age where you've begun to. Mom, please don't say that. I'm just teasing you, Naruto. You don't have to freak out so much. Once she was upstairs in the bathroom, Naruto shook his head in annoyance. He was fine with his father doing the teasing, but whenever his mother did it she usually got carried away, usually ending with Naruto being embarrassed. He just had to get used to the fact that things in his life were about to change. And they would change very soon. The next day, thanks for coming along with me to the mall, you guys. I really appreciate the company. said Naruto, who was sitting in the food court with two other guys while drinking some orange juice. He was wearing an orange t-shirt, white jeans and some tennis shoes. One of them had spiky, jet black hair and black eyes. He was wearing a buttoned-up short-sleeved white shirt and a pair of black jeans, along with white shoes. His name was Sasuke Uchiha, but at school he was known by some of the girls as Prince Sasuke courtesy of his charming good looks. As obvious as it sounded, Sasuke was the main babe magnet of the school, with girls practically throwing themselves at him almost every day. Sometimes Naruto even wondered how he could attract girls so easily without even trying. While Sasuke didn't mind the attention, he was not interested in a relationship at this time. The second guy was known as Kiba Inuzuka. He had messy brown hair, sharp black eyes, and he was wearing a black sleeveless shirt, blue jeans and some sneakers. Kiba was more of the rebellious type of teenager. He often had a habit of ditching classes, mocking the teachers and even joking around just for the fun of it. Despite this, he still had a good heart. No problem Naruto. I was bored at home anyway, said Kiba, whom was leaning back in his chair. I just didn't feel like staying at home all morning, said Sasuke. I didn't really have much reason for coming out, other than to have something to do since I got the day off from work this weekend, mentioned Naruto. You sound like you're not in a good mood. What's up? Asked Kiba. Nothing much, except that I'm about to lose my room to some girl. Whoa, seriously? Yeah, my mom's getting remarried to this guy she's been dating named Inoichi Yamanaka. He and his daughter Ino are gonna be living with us, and my mom is forcing me to share my room with her. Wait, you're gonna be living with Ino Yamanaka? Yes, unfortunately. Dude, you should consider yourself lucky. Ino is one of the most beautiful and popular girls in school. Guys would chomp at the bit just to ask her out. Well, I don't know her that much, I've barely even seen her around school. Although I know her name, I'm not sure if I know what she looks like. Aw man, you are shallow. Every guy in school practically drools over her. Some of the girls even get jealous because of her good looks. Correction, not every guy in school has the hots for her. You don't see me worship the ground she walks on, Sasuke remarked. Oh, that's right. You aren't the type of guy who shows interest in girls at first glance, despite being the man of their dreams. It's not that I don't like girls, I'm just not into all that lovey-dovey stuff. Besides, most of them aren't even my type. Figures. Sasuke, let me ask you something. If your mom got remarried to some guy who already had a daughter, would you share your room with her? Asked Naruto. I wouldn't know, me and Itachi have had our own rooms since we were young. But since Itachi moved out, his old room is empty. So if I were to get a stepsister, I'd still keep my room while she would get Itachi's. When did he move out? 3 weeks ago. He's living with his girlfriend in an apartment. Aw, that's too bad. Do you miss him? A little, but not a lot. But he still keeps in touch every now and again. Well, good for you. Come on Naruto, having a sister isn't so bad once you get used to it, said Kiba. You would say that. You already get along well with your older sister Hana. I will admit she can be a pain sometimes, but I still love her enough to spend time with her. You have a good point. But look on the bright side, Ino's gonna be living with you. You should try and get to know her better. I was afraid you were gonna say that. I wouldn't be surprised if I were to see her now. Well, hello there, greeted a female voice from behind Naruto. Naruto turned his head around to look up at the person who was behind him. It was a young, beautiful girl who looked like she was about Naruto's age. She had blonde hair like Naruto, only hers was more pale and smooth looking. She had it tied up in a ponytail, which was down to her waist. Her eyes, one of which was covered by a single bang, were bright blue, even brighter than Naruto's. She was wearing a purple belly shirt, matching shorts and sandals. Not wanting to sound rude, Naruto returned the greeting. Hello, Ino, he replied, albeit hesitantly. So you know my name, very good. Because I know all about you, Naruto. How did you know my name? Isn't it obvious? Oh, right. Anyway, it's nice to finally meet you. I originally paid a visit to your house earlier, but your mother said you had left for the mall. So instead of waiting there for you to come back, I decided to come and find you. Seeing what was going on, Kiba decided that now was the time to make a hasty retreat. You know Naruto, I just remembered that I had something to take care of elsewhere. So I gotta get going. Kiba lied while getting up from the table. Why are you leaving so soon? Asked a confused Naruto. I just have to, that's all. It was nice seeing you, Ino, later Naruto. After that, he left. Naruto turned to look at Sasuke, only to discover that he was long gone, leaving him and Ino all alone. Sasuke left already. How did he do that without making noise? Thought Naruto. Well, now it's just you and me, said Ino after taking a seat next to him. Yeah, quite the surprise, huh? All that aside, I just want to let you know that I'm really excited about getting to know you better. You are? Well, of course, silly. When I learned that I was gonna have a stepbrother, I was so happy. Though to be honest, I never thought it would be you. Why? She giggled in a somewhat flirtatious tone before speaking up. Because the truth is, I've known about you for a long, long time. She said softly while scooting closer to him. Oh. K. Naruto said while feeling uneasy. In fact, I've always had sort of a crush on you. Before long, she started rubbing her hand on his leg, causing him to shiver. He was obviously starting to get uncomfortable with Ino's sudden change in behavior. She went from being cheerful and kind to being flirtatious and affectionate. Ino, are you hitting on me? He asked with a mixture of fear and dismay. Ino merely ignored his question and kept on rubbing his leg, all the while continuing with what she was saying. You see, Naruto, I've had my eye on you from the moment I saw you. But since we had separate classes, I could never meet you face to face. It's true that I've had plenty of admirers, and you could say that I also had a thing for your friend Sasuke. But you know what I've realized? Gulp and no. What is it? Asked a now frightened Naruto. She grasped the collar of his shirt with her other hand and pulled him in closer until their faces were only 2 inches apart. Naruto was under the assumption that she was going to kiss him, but he was quickly proved wrong. You're much more cuter than him. Naruto was on the verge of sweating like a nervous patient. Being this close to Ino made him more uncomfortable than ever. Never before had Naruto ever been so intimidated by a beautiful girl, especially his soon-to-be stepsister. And you know what else? She moved her mouth over to his ear and whispered into it. I'm gonna enjoy getting to know you, big boy. After that, she pulled back until she was face to face with him once more. Noticing the look on his face, Ino pulled away entirely and started laughing. What's so funny? Asked Naruto with confusion. Ha 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 ha, I was just teasing you, silly. I was testing you to see how you would react to my advances, and clearly from what I can see, you're easy to toy with. His confusion soon changed to frustration. I am not, take that back, he snapped. Calm down, there's no need to get sensitive. Don't tell me to calm down, what you did just now was uncalled for and you know it. Well, excuse me for trying to be playful. I just wanted to have a little fun with you and see if I could make a good impression by just teasing you. But apparently, that was just a waste of time. Oh gee, I guess I must have missed the memo when you were rubbing my leg and sweet-talking me a few minutes ago. Ino crossed her arms and glared at the blonde male in front of her. She was obviously none too pleased with how he was being so rude to her. You are such an idiot, you know that. Please, I've heard that insult so many times that I've grown used to it. You're far too late. Ino once again grabbed him by the collar of his shirt, only in a more aggressive manner than before. Say something else, go ahead. What are you gonna do, hit me? Naruto taunted. Don't tempt me, smart ass. What's the matter, you don't wanna hurt me because of how cute I am? He quipped mockingly. I'll show you, she snapped while raising her fist. Yeah right, you couldn't possibly lay a hand on me. You're asking for it. Naruto just grinned and closed his eyes as he prepared to brace himself. He was about to get punched out by an angry girl, which was the one thing that scared him the most when he was younger. He thought back to all those times during his middle school years when Sakura Haruno, a childhood friend and crush, would violently punch his lights out whenever he pissed her off. This, coupled with her monstrous temper, made Naruto remember to be on his best behavior when in her presence. But now that he was in high school, Naruto had gotten over that intense fear. Even though Sakura could still startle him, he was able to shrug it off like it was nothing. But what happened next was not what he expected. Instead of feeling the brute force of a fist to the face, he instead felt a light thump to his forehead. Opening one eye, he saw Ino staring at him with a large, cheerful grin forming across her lips. Gotcha, she chirped while giggling. What was that? You had me bracing myself for nothing, he yelled out. I'm sorry. I love teasing you, you're just so cute that I couldn't resist. She replied while ruffling his spiky blonde hair. Now she tells me. But anyway, it was good to finally meet you. Sorry about making you so uncomfortable. Naruto put on a gentle smile. It's okay, I know you were just trying to make a first impression. With one last smile, she got up from the table and went walking away while Naruto went back to sipping on his juice. But she stopped short and turned back around to look at him one more time. Oh, and Naruto? Yes? I just wanted to let you know one last thing. Walking back up, she grabbed Naruto around his neck and waist and dipped him back, causing him to make a look of surprise. What are you doing? He suddenly noticed her leaning her face in. Knowing what she was about to do, Naruto tucked in his lips to keep her from kissing him. Once she was close enough, rather than kissing him directly, she moved her lips to the side of his face and gave him a lick on the cheek. I'll see you later, handsome. After letting him go, she once again went walking away. After she was gone, Naruto did the next thing he could think of. Ew, she licked me. That was disgusting. He grimaced while wiping his cheek. I can't believe that this girl is gonna be my new stepsister. How am I supposed to live with someone like that? Thought Naruto. Inoichi's daughter Ino is really nice once you get to know her. I guarantee that you'll love her. Yeah, right, screamed Naruto as he walked down the sidewalk through his neighborhood. He was still feeling disturbed from his encounter with Ino at the mall earlier, and he was making it pretty obvious as of now. Ino for a stepsister, I don't think so. I'll sleep on the couch or make her stay in the guest room if I have to in order to keep away from her. I still have my pride, and no one's taking it from me. Thought Naruto. As he went along, he kept on grumbling to himself. This was something that he just couldn't accept so soon, and he was well aware of that. The last thing he wanted was a step-sibling who would make unwanted advances on him, which he hated. Once I get home, I'm gonna talk to my mom about changing the living arrangements. I don't care if she takes away my ramen privileges for a while, I have a right to my own decisions. The moment he arrived at his house, he took out his keys from his pocket and unlocked the front door before walking inside. Mom, I'm home, he announced, but he didn't hear a response. That's strange, Mom usually calls back to me when I come home. He then went walking through the living room, heading upstairs to see if she was in her room asleep. But when he peeked his head in, he saw that her bed was untouched. Naruto scratched his head with confusion. Where is she? He wondered. He suddenly heard the sound of the shower coming from the bathroom down the hall. She must be in the shower. Naruto proceeded down the hallway towards the bathroom. As he got closer, he started hearing someone singing, which made him confused. This is weird, Mom never sings while taking a shower. In fact, she's never done it at all, why start now? When he arrived at the bathroom, he knocked on the door. Mom, it's me Naruto. Are you in the shower? He asked. The singing was soon replaced by a giggle. Why is she giggling like that? He thought. Are you feeling alright? He then heard another giggle. Feeling curious and confused at the same time, he decided to find out for himself. I didn't want to do this, but do you mind if I come in while you're still in the shower? He, I don't mind. She finally said in a tone that sounded somewhat high-pitched. Feeling more confused than ever, Naruto turned the knob and opened the door. After entering, he closed the door. I know this might be a bad time, but I wanted to talk to you about something. What's on your mind, Naruto-kun? Well, you see, the thing is. He stopped in mid-sentence after what he just heard. His mother would never call him Naruto-kun. Now he knew that something was up. Mom, why are you talking like that, and why did you call me Naruto-kun? Tell me, Naruto, do you like surprises? Yeah, sometimes, but what's that got to do with anything? Surprise, yelled none other than Ino, who popped her head out through the shower curtain, thus startling him into falling to the floor. You, what are you doing in my house? He screamed while pointing at her. Settle down, Kushina said I could stay here for a while until she and my father come back from their date. She replied, why wasn't I told about this until now? She thought it would be fun to surprise you. So here I am. Wait a minute, when are our parents coming back? They said they wanted to have as much time to themselves as possible. So I say they'll be back at around maybe 9:30 or 10. What, but that means. That's right, it's just you and me. All alone, together, she said with a crafty grin. If this is some kind of crazy dream, I would really like to wake up now. Naruto was so riddled with discomfort that he didn't even notice he was still on the floor until the last second. Here, allow me to help you up, she offered while extending a hand out. No way, I'm not letting you touch me while you're wet and naked. He screamed as he turned his head away and closed his eyes. If you want to, you can join me and be my shower buddy. Out of the question. Without even a second thought, Naruto got to his feet and tried to charge out of the bathroom. But he had forgotten that the door was shut, which made him crash straight into it. Ouch, damn it, that hurt, he snapped while rubbing his sore nose. Oh, you poor thing. Do you need a nice warm hug? She teased him some more. Hell no, not a chance. He immediately pulled the door open and ran out into the hallway, making a beeline for his room. He rushed straight in through the open door and slammed it shut, putting his back up against it. Oh god, that was so embarrassing back there. I better lay low in here until things calm down. He quickly clamped his hands over his mouth when he heard Ino's voice and footsteps outside the room. Oh Naruto-kun, come out wherever you are. Ino-chan wants to play with you. She called out playfully. Just stay quiet, she won't know you're in here if you don't make a sound. Perhaps maybe I should check his room. Oh, she's on to me. He looked frantically around his room for a place to hide. He thought of hiding in the closet, but he decided against the idea, knowing that would be the first place she'd look. He considered hiding in his own personal bathroom, but he feared she would suspect that he was in there. Then he heard a knock on the door. Naruto, are you in there? Asked Ino. But after doing some quick thinking, Naruto decided that he wasn't gonna hide anymore. He had to stand up for himself, and now was the time to do it. Standing tall and firm with a serious face, Naruto turned around to open the door. Naruto's face. O_OLL. Standing right before him was Ino, wrapped in a white towel with her clothes underneath her arm. Naruto was left speechless as his eyes became wide like dinner plates and his face blushed bright red. She couldn't help but giggle at his embarrassment. Naughty Naruto. It's not nice to stare at a girl in a bath towel. Ino said, waving her index finger back and forth. Without even a word, he fell to the floor and passed out. Oops, I must have went a little overboard, she said to herself with a nervous smile. She looked down at the unconscious boy on the floor. She giggled quietly to herself. She actually thought he looked rather cute while he was out cold. But since she was the reason he passed out, she had to take responsibility. Well, I can't just leave him on the floor like that. I gotta at least make up for causing this. Setting her clothes on the dresser, Ino walked over to Naruto and got down on her knees to take a closer look at him. She reached her hand forward and gave him a small poke on the cheek, but he didn't move a muscle. She tried pinching him a little, but he still didn't move. She tried snapping her fingers in front of his face, but still nothing happened. Wow, he's really out like a light. Oh well, I guess the best bet is to just let him rest for a while. But first I just need to get him off the floor and on the bed. Moving closer, she gently placed her hands underneath him and slowly started to lift him up into a sitting position. Okay, this is a good start. Now to just grab him by his arms and, when she saw him about to fall back down, she quickly moved behind him and caught him by his arms, stopping his descent. But the momentum of her movement had caused her towel to come loose and fall off her body. Ino's face. Oh, eep, she squealed. Alright, I'm not gonna panic. He's still knocked out, so there's nothing to worry about. All I have to do is place him on the bed and then everything will be okay, she assured herself. After taking a deep breath, she began to stand back up, lifting up Naruto along with her. She then proceeded to drag him over to the bed, all the while trying to stay calm, despite the fact that she was naked. As she did so, she couldn't help feeling somewhat relaxed by his body heat. A light blush formed across her face as a flattered smile came to her lips. His body, it's so warm. It feels so good, thought Ino. She began to visualize herself being held within Naruto's arms, pressed up against his body, taking in his warmth. Her smile grew even larger than before as she continued to think about it. But she snapped herself out of her daydream as she remembered what she was doing. Once she had reached the bed, she then attempted to lift up Naruto a little more in order to set him on the bed. But she had a little trouble due to Naruto weighing her down. Damn, he's heavy. What else does he eat besides ramen? A ton of bricks, she whispered through gritted teeth. After putting up some more effort, she finally managed to put him safely down on the bed. She let out a sigh of relief. But when she turned to go and grab her towel, she stopped short and turned her head around to glance back at the unconscious Naruto, with his legs hanging off the bed. After putting her towel back on, she quietly walked back over to him and carefully adjusted his body, turning him forward so that his legs were at the foot of the bed. She then gently placed his head on one of the pillows. Afterwards, she just stood there, staring down at him face to face with a light pink blush on her face. She couldn't resist the sudden urge to run her hand along his cheek, stroking it softly. But it was the moment she looked at his lips did she blush even more. She licked her lips eagerly, she could feel herself being tempted to kiss him right here and now. She cupped his face with her other hand, closed her eyes and started to lean in. But at the last second, she opened her eyes, realized what she was doing and then pulled away. She backed away from the bed, blushing with complete embarrassment. "No, I can't do it. Not now, it's too soon," she thought. Without even a word, Ino picked up her clothes and walked out of the room, returning to the bathroom to get dressed. Sometime later, Naruto regained consciousness and sat up, realizing he was in bed. He shook his head due to the dizziness that he was feeling from his previously embarrassing experience. He looked around, checking to see if Ino was somewhere in the room, only to find no sign of her. Where did she go? He wondered. Suddenly, he heard his cell phone ring on his nightstand. He reached over and grabbed it to look at the caller ID, which read Mom. He quickly pressed the call button and put it up to his ear. "Hey Mom," Naruto greeted. "Hello Naruto, I just called in to check up on you." "Is everything alright?" replied Kushina over the phone. "Yeah, for the most part. Everything's fine. That's wonderful. By the way, sorry for not calling you before I left. I hope you weren't too shocked that I was gone when you got back." "Huh, well you did throw me for a loop there, but it's no big deal. So anyway, how are you and Ino getting along?" Naruto became tense for a short while as he tried to come up with a proper reply. He couldn't possibly tell Kushina about how Ino had been teasing him for the last half hour. As much as he wanted to complain, he had to keep his cool. "Oh we're doing alright. Ino is quite a playful girl, she really knows how to have fun," said Naruto with a forced smile. "Ah, that's so sweet. I knew you would learn to like her, and all this time you doubted her." "Yes, of course. That's good to know. Well, I gotta get going, so." Wait, Mom. Before you hang up, I just want to know something." "Sure, what is it?" "Ino said that you and Inoichi wouldn't be back until like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. She was just kidding, right?" He had hoped that she would prove him right, but unfortunately the response he got was not to his liking. "Ha ha 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 ha, oh Naruto. Sometimes you just crack me up with your silliness. And to answer your question, no. Ino was not joking with what she told you. Me and Inoichi need a little more time to be together just before we get married. So that's why I'll be coming back later than usual." "So you mean that I'm really gonna be alone here with Ino all day?" he asked in alarm. "Don't start whining again Naruto, I'm in no mood for this. I'd like to continue with my date, if you don't mind." She responded with a hint of irritation. "But Mom, I'll see you soon Naruto. And try to spend more time with Ino while you're at it." Then she hung up. Naruto just groaned and set the phone back on his nightstand before lying back down, staring at the ceiling. "This sucks. She could have at least listened to what I had to say." Then he heard his phone ring again. But this time he answered it without looking at the caller ID. "Hello? Naruto?" screamed a high-pitched voice over the phone. Who is this?" he asked. "Oh, don't act like you don't remember. It's me, your cousin Naruko." Naruto nearly dropped the phone in shock when he heard the name Naruko. She was his cousin all right, his twin female cousin to be exact, as in his mother's niece. He not only remembered her, but he remembered her all too well. Back when they were children, Naruko always used to drive him nuts when they played together. Every now and then, she would try to spend as much time as she possibly could with her favorite relative, despite how annoyed he gets. And now after all these years, she plucked up the nerve to call him on the phone. "Ah ha ha, this is certainly a surprise," he replied with a strong hint of discomfort. "It's been forever since we've talked to each other, I've missed you so much Naruto-chan." The blonde teenager cringed at the honorific included in his name. He absolutely disliked being called Naruto-chan, especially by his cousin. She had been referring to him as such ever since childhood, which led to him being teased by other kids because of it. Even when he told her to stop doing so, she wouldn't let it go. "I thought I had told you years ago to stop calling me that. But I like calling you Naruto-chan, it sounds cute. After all, you are my favorite cousin. Like I haven't heard that a million times. Listen, I know you're probably wondering why I called." "Gee, you think?" he said with sarcasm. Anyway, I've got some exciting news. Since I haven't seen you in so long, I thought I'd pop by for a visit so we can catch up on old times. Wouldn't that be great? Naruto froze up with instant terror. It was like he had just woken up from a bad dream, only this one was a reality. He thought it was bad enough that he had to deal with being around Ino for an entire day, but the very idea of his cousin Naruko coming over was like a natural disaster waiting to happen. From his point of view, it was going to be difficult to have them both around. I don't know what to say. He stuttered nervously. Say no more, I knew you would be excited. We are gonna have so much fun together, just like the good old days. Well anyway, it was nice talking to you. I'll see you later, Naruto-chan. Wait, you didn't tell me when. Bye-bye. Then she hung up. You were coming. He placed his phone back down and groaned more louder than before. Great, just freaking great. First I get stuck at home with Ino, now my annoying cousin is coming to visit, and she didn't bother to tell me when she was coming. Damn it, I'm screwed for sure, thought Naruto. But then he heard the sound of some laughter coming from downstairs. Feeling curious, he got up off the bed and left the room, walking down the hallway. The laughter started to get louder as he got closer. When he got downstairs, he found Ino on the couch with some kind of large book on her lap, laughing like there was no tomorrow. She soon stopped upon noticing Naruto. Hey there sleepyhead, nice to see you awake, she said with a smile. What are you doing with my family photo album? Asked Naruto. I just found it sitting on the table in the living room and decided to look through it. And so far, I've seen some pretty interesting photos, like this one. She gazed at a photo showing Naruto as a baby sleeping in his crib, with a stuffed fox toy in his arms. You look so cute as a baby, she commented. Yeah, I get that a lot from my mom's friends when she shows them my baby pictures, he said while grinning sheepishly. She gestured for him to sit with her by patting the sofa with her hand. Despite hesitating, Naruto complied and sat down on the couch. If you don't mind me asking, what was so funny? He asked with curiosity. I just happened to see some funny pictures. Like for example, this one. She showed him a picture which depicted Naruto as a 7-year-old kid at the beach, buried up to his head in the sand while being laughed at by two other kids his age. One of them being a young Sasuke Uchiha while the other was Sakura Haruno, the one responsible for burying him. Naruto blushed a little while chuckling. I remember that time. Sakura thought it would be funny to bury me in the sand. And was it funny? Asked Ino. Actually yeah, it was until I got pinched on the nose by a stupid crab. That must have hurt. It hurt like hell. From that point, Naruto and Ino continued to skim through the album, looking at the photos that Ino found to be either funny or interesting, or even both. Naruto for the most part would almost always react with embarrassment, which would lead Ino to laugh at him for it. But the next picture she looked at had led her to question Naruto some more. It showed a 12-year-old Naruto being kissed on the lips under a mistletoe by a girl who greatly resembled him, with the only exception being her long hair which was tied up in 2 pigtails. Hey Naruto, who's this blonde pigtailed girl kissing you in this Christmas picture? Naruto just grimaced before responding. That's Naruko, my annoying twin cousin, he said while rolling his eyes. You look more like siblings. Everyone who saw us together when we were little assumed that we were brother and sister because of how we looked alike. You sound as if you don't like her. Don't get me wrong, I love her because she's family, I really do. But in general, she just drove me nuts every time we played together. She always glomped me in public, she followed me everywhere I went, not to mention how she always called me Naruto-chan asterisk, and I hate that name. Then why is she kissing you under a mistletoe in this picture? It was years ago at a Christmas party. I just happened to be standing under the mistletoe without even noticing until she came walking up to me and mentioned it. And so you kissed her? Not exactly, she tricked me by asking for a kiss on the cheek. And like an idiot, I actually fell for it. I was so disgusted that I spent 3 hours in the bathroom using mouthwash. Ino nearly fell off the couch when she started laughing her heart out at what Naruto had told her. Now that is hilarious, ha 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 ha, said Ino while laughing. Alright, I get it, you find it hysterical. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. After shrugging it off, they went about looking at some more photos. But once again Ino stopped short on the next page when she saw a photo depicting Naruto and his mother standing together along with a taller, more older-looking man with blonde hair just like Naruto's. Is that your? She started to ask. Yeah, that's my dad. Naruto answered softly. I can see where you got your looks from, you look just like him. I know, lots of people say that. Ino suddenly felt guilty when she noticed the sadness forming in his eyes, even though the smile never left his face. She knew that he was feeling upset after bringing up such a personal matter. I'm sorry for hitting a nerve, I didn't mean to. She said sympathetically. No, it's alright. I know you were probably curious and all. No harm there. I just can't stop thinking about how he died. It happened so fast that I almost never saw it coming. What happened? Naruto took a deep breath as he tried to find the courage to speak up. He didn't really like talking about this kind of subject around others, as it only brought up all the bad memories of how his life was without Minato. It happened about 2 years ago 2 days after my 14th birthday. I was at school one day while my mom was out with her friends and dad was taking care of things at home. But then later on after school my mom had called and told me that she found dad lying on the floor in the living room. He explained. Ino could see the tears welling up in his eyes. When we got to the hospital, the doctors did some sniff tests, and then told us that my sniff father's heart was failing and he didn't have much longer to live. I stood by his side, and I held his hand as he looked at me and smiled. Sniff, he told me he loved me, to always stay strong, and to keep my mother happy no matter what. And then he. Unable to hold back any longer, Naruto cried his eyes out. Deep down, Ino had felt sorry for seeing him cry, and she knew exactly what it was like to lose a parent. Back when she was only 8, her mother had died from cancer, thus forcing her father Inoichi to raise her himself. Even though it was difficult to do so, he had to do the best he could to ensure the safety of his only daughter as she grew up. She closed the album, set it aside and then pulled Naruto into a sympathetic hug. It's okay Naruto. Let it out, don't keep your emotions bottled up. She said with compassion. It's been so hard without him. Sniff, I miss him so much. He said while crying. I know. It may be difficult at first, but you just have to learn when to put the past behind you. Trust me, it helps. Naruto had to admit that Ino was right. He was actually astonished at how she was being so sensitive and caring to him, despite how she acted with him earlier. Naruto wiped away his tears and then returned the hug, smiling softly with happiness. Thanks Ino. Anytime, Naruto. All this time I was wrong about you. You're not so bad after all. Just because I tease you so much, it doesn't mean I don't care about you. The two blondes stayed like that for about at least 10 more minutes as they wanted this moment to last longer. Naruto actually felt more close with her than he initially was. The way she had showed compassion and comfort for him made Naruto suddenly feel lucky to have her around. You know, maybe having a stepsister won't be so bad. This entire time I just kept complaining about her for nothing, all because she was being too playful. I guess being alone here with her has given me a chance to see her for the nice person she truly is. Naruto thought. After time had passed, Naruto decided to end the hug. But he found that Ino refused to let go of him for some reason. Ino, you can let go now. He told her. I don't want to let go. She replied playfully. I'm serious, you can stop hugging me already. What's the rush, big boy? Now he was starting to become irritated with her again. He pried himself from her grip and turned away from her in annoyance. I just shared a personal moment with you and now you're pulling this again. I can't believe you, he said with frustration. Oh come on, lighten up. You know you like it when I toy with you. She said with a giggle. I'd expect that from someone like Sakura, but not you. Don't take it so hard, I do feel sorry for you. I just wanted to cheer you up a bit. This is not something to just look back on and laugh about. Suddenly, a smile formed on Ino's lips as she thought up an idea on what to do next. You know something Naruto? What? She scooted closer and placed her arm around his waist, using her other hand to turn his face towards hers. You look a lot cuter when you're mad, she cooed while batting her eyelashes. Oh god, don't say stuff like that around me, said Naruto while pulling away from her. He then scooted away from her, only for her to mimic his movements as she scooted towards him again. You look even more adorable when you get nervous. Naruto pushed her away. Stop getting so close to me, he yelled. What's the matter, do I make you scared? She teased while crawling over to him. Knock it off, this isn't funny. Aw come on baby, I won't bite. For God's sake Ino, you're gonna be my stepsister, don't you know that? He reminded her while moving backwards. Of course I do, silly boy. But you should know by now that your precious stepsister wants to play with her adorable stepbrother. I think you're teasing me a little bit too much. Who said I was still teasing? Naruto found himself cornered at the end of the couch. As Ino continued to close in on him, he attempted to get up off the couch and run back upstairs. But Ino stopped him by grabbing his shoulders and climbing on his lap. Not so fast. You're not gonna escape me that easily. Wait, can't we talk about this? He suggested. The more you talk, the more persistent I get. Oh, and remember when I mentioned how I always had a crush on you? Yeah, well, this is my chance to express it. You mean you were serious? But can't we seriously just talk about this? The time for talking is over. But she placed a finger on his lips to silence him. Shush, don't speak. She then started to lean her face in towards his, with her eyes closed and lips puckered up. Upon noticing a couch pillow right next to him, Naruto made a grab for it. Just when Ino was about to kiss him, Naruto quickly shoved the pillow in her face, forcing her off of him, thus allowing him to get up. Sorry Ino, but I just don't like you that way, and I never will. I hope you understand, he said firmly with his arms crossed. Ino tossed the pillow aside and just smiled at him. She then slowly stood up from the couch, with her smile becoming more devious and crafty looking. I understand, she said briefly. Good to know. I understand that your resistance only makes me want to kiss you even more. Naruto's face. LL. With a girlish giggle, Ino began to advance towards him, licking her lips with anticipation. Naruto was about to run back upstairs when he suddenly heard the doorbell ring. Yes, company. I'm saved, Naruto said with relief. Shoot, muttered Ino while pouting. Oh, thank God for the doorbell. I surely hope that it's Kiba or Sasuke, or maybe Sakura. I don't care who it is as long as I don't have to deal with Ino by myself. Thought Naruto as he walked up to answer the door. The moment he unlocked the door and opened it, he found himself face to face with one person that he did not expect to see. There, standing on the doorstep was a girl who looked just like Naruto, except that she had a feminine figure and long blonde hair tied up in two pigtails. She was wearing an orange tank top, blue jean shorts and red and yellow sneakers. To Naruto's dismay, it was his twin cousin, Naruko. Naruko, he said with a shocked tone. Naruto-chan, she squealed with delight. In order to hide his discomfort, Naruto did the best he could to put on a smile, albeit a goofy one. Ahihi, long time no see Naruko. He greeted. He was taken by surprise when she moved forward and embraced him in a very tight, affectionate hug while nuzzling his cheek. He never really liked how she always hugged him like a stuffed animal whenever she saw him. At one point when they were younger, she hugged him so hard that she caused him to pass out due to lack of oxygen. Oh Naruto-chan, I'm so happy to see you, she said with glee. Right, back, at ya. He replied with a strained tone. You and I are gonna have so much fun. Just the two of us, like old times. Ahem, I think you better make that the three of us. Ino butted in. Naruko turned her attention towards the ponytailed blonde. She became confused and turned back to look at her cousin, letting him go in the process. Naruto-chan, who is this? She asked. Oh, I almost forgot. Naruko, this is Ino Yamanaka. Ino, this is my my twin cousin, Naruko. Naruto announced. Nice to meet you Naruko, said Ino while extending her hand out. It's nice to meet you too. Are you Naruto's girlfriend? Asked Naruko as they shook hands. With a mischievous smile, Ino was about to say yes asterisk, but Naruto beat her to the punch before she could. No, not even close. She's actually gonna be my new stepsister. He answered. Stepsister? To be specific, his mother is getting married to my father. Added Ino. No way, you're joking. Ino walked up and placed her arm around Naruto's neck, prompting a look of puzzlement from him. It's true. Once our parents tie the knot, me and Naruto will officially be siblings. Step-siblings, Naruto pointed out. So that means Ino will be my step-cousin. Naruko said. Yes. Suddenly, Naruko let out an excited high-pitched squeal which was so loud that Naruto and Ino were forced to cover their ears. After she stopped, she smiled with a large, cheeky grin with sparkles in her eyes. But then her facial expression changed from looking cheerful to being sly and devious. She glanced over at Ino. Hey Ino, I just thought of something fun we can do together with Naruto-chan. said Naruko. Ino smiled with interest, but Naruto frowned with dismay. I don't like the looks of this, thought Naruto. Do tell, she replied. Naruko took Ino aside and whispered something in her ear. While they were occupied, Naruto began to sneak towards the stairs, hoping to get away from them. I just need to make it to my bedroom and everything will be alright, he whispered to himself. But he was only able to walk up 2 steps before coming to a stop upon hearing the girls call him. Oh Naruto, called both girls. Naruto nervously turned his head to see the 2 blonde girls grinning at him. Come here, Ino said. He refused. Come here Naruto-chan. Naruko joined in. No way, whatever it is, I'm not interested. Okay, if you won't come here and let us kiss you, then we'll just come to you. Naruto's face. Oh. Stay away from me, he shouted before running up the rest of the steps. Come back here, big boy, said a giggling Ino as she and Naruko pursued him. Come on out Naruto, we won't hurt you, said a giggling Ino from outside Naruto's room. No way, I'm not letting you or Naruko get anywhere near me, snapped Naruto, who had his back up against the door. Oh Naruto-chan, there's nothing wrong with a kiss. Don't you remember our mistletoe kiss at the Christmas party? Asked Naruko from outside the room. That didn't count as an official kiss. You tricked me into that kiss, which was disgusting by the way. It was just a kiss, it was no big deal. Whatever. Regardless, I'm staying right here until you 2 knock it off with the teasing. Both girls sighed with dismay at Naruto's refusal to come out. He was making it very clear that he would not allow either of them to lay even 1 kiss on him, not even a slight peck on the cheek. But Ino was not one to give up so soon, nor was Naruko. They had an ace up their sleeve that couldn't possibly fail. Okay Naruto, you win. We give up, you're just too much for us to handle, said Ino. She's right, we realize that you don't like being teased so much. So if you'll just come out now, we'll just have a nice and normal day, added Naruko. But Naruto knew better than to fall for petty tricks like that. He had been through too much embarrassment for one day and was not in the mood for any more games. Nice try, but that's not gonna work. I'm still not coming out, Naruto replied. Fine, suit yourself. You can just sit in there all by yourself while your cousin and I go eat some ramen, Ino mentioned. That's right Naruto-chan. Some nice, delicious, freshly cooked, miso ramen. Or better yet, maybe even some scrumptious barbecue ramen. Too bad you'll have to miss out on the greatest meal of a lifetime if you stay in there. Naruko tried to goad him. Then, there was a brief moment of silence. They didn't hear another word come from the room, which meant that Naruto was possibly contemplating with what they said. They both knew Naruto couldn't resist ramen, and they were using his craving to their advantage. 3, 2, 1, muttered Ino under her breath. As if on cue, the door flew open in an instant as Naruto came stepping out, with a big excited grin on his face. You should have said so, let's eat, he said with excitement. Whatever you say. However, there's one thing we have to do first, Naruko brought up, but then he realized too late that he was tricked. Naruto's face. Oh no, oh yes, said both girls. Naruto was about to close the door again, but the girls got the jump on him as they tackled him to the floor. We got you now. Time for those kisses, chirped Ino. To keep from being kissed, Naruto tucked in his lips. That won't save you Naruto-chan, said Naruko. Let's tickle him, way ahead of you. The moment they started to do so, Naruto was trying to keep his composure. He attempted to stifle an oncoming laugh in order to keep his lips sealed off. But the more they tickled him, the harder it was for him to hold in his laughter. He tried to push the girls off of him, but their tickling made it difficult for him. Don't laugh, thought Naruto. But after putting up some major effort, he managed to push them off and stand back up. It's gonna take a lot more than that to catch me. Mark my words, Naruto Uzumaki will never be caught, he bragged. Well, that'll make this things a lot more fun, said Naruko. And besides, chasing boys is my specialty, said Ino. When he saw the growing smiles on their faces, he knew that they meant business. Without a second thought, he maneuvered around their attempts, grabbed his legs and went running down the hall. Both girls quickly jumped to their feet and ran after the escaping teen. Naruto was running straight for the bathroom, intending to lock the door the moment he reached it. No way am I letting those girls kiss me, he thought. However, this wasn't to be the case. The whole time he was running, he failed to notice that his shoes were untied, which proved to be a big disadvantage on his part. Just as he was close to the bathroom, he stepped on a shoelace and winded up tripping, causing him to fall flat on his face. "Look out Naruto, we're coming to get you, muhahahaha," called Naruko while laughing like a villain. In desperation, Naruto resorted to crawling towards the bathroom as fast as he could. But right when he made it, he was grabbed and flipped onto his back. Ino had him pinned down by his hands while sitting on his lap, with Naruko right beside her. "Game over, Naruto-kun," said Ino. "It's smooching time," said Naruko. "Naruko, we're cousins for crying out loud," Naruto reminded her. "Ever hear of the phrase kissing cousins? How does that apply to this? Let's just say that I've been wanting to give you what I call a cousin kiss." "You're bluffing, both of you are." "Oh, but we beg to differ." "Now pucker up, here comes the cousin kiss." Naruto's eyes went wide with terror when Naruko began to lean in towards his face, with her lips puckered and eyes half closed. "Don't do it, no no no. No, no, no mmff." His protests were cut off by Naruko's lips touching his own. He shivered and cringed with discomfort as he was being kissed by his own cousin. The kiss only lasted for a total of 30 seconds before Naruko finally broke it. "Yuck, that was disgusting. I can't believe you kissed me," screamed Naruto. "Calm down, it was just a kiss," Naruko said while giggling. "A kiss between couples is just a kiss. But this is just plain incest. Why are you freaking out? It's not like it was a French kiss, which it wasn't." A French kiss. That might come in handy later," thought Ino. "Would you girls please let me go?" he asked with a frustrated tone. "Not so fast, I still want to kiss you too," said Ino. "Don't you dare do it," he growled. "Do what, you mean this?" Without restraint, Ino leaned straight down and planted a big kiss directly on Naruto's vulnerable lips. It lasted for only 2 minutes as Ino pulled back to look down at him. "That's funny, I thought you dared me not to kiss you." "I did, were you even listening to me?" he yelled out, his face now red with anger. "Ha ha ha, I don't know why. But I can't help thinking about how cute you look when you get mad." After he was finally released, Naruto stood straight up, with his angry face still intact. Without even a word, he walked down the hall. "Where are you going, Naruto-chan?" asked Naruko. "I'm going downstairs to eat some ramen and watch TV. You're welcome to join me if you want," he replied without raising his voice again. After exchanging glances with each other, the girls followed after him. As they all went along, Naruto started to think to himself. "This day is such a pain. These two are really pushing me to my limits. I don't know how much longer I can last with them frequently teasing me. I can't stand it. What good is it gonna do for me to have a hot stepsister and—" Naruto had nearly stopped in his tracks when he realized what he had just thought. "I just called Ino hot. What's the matter with me? I can't think of her like that, it's wrong. But then again, she does look cute when she— damn it, I'm doing it again. What is it about her that's making me think this way?" Later, the wonderful taste of ramen. "It's the greatest meal in the world," said Naruto while chowing down on some instant ramen in the living room, with Ino and Naruko sitting next to him on both sides while also eating ramen. "Yum yum yummy, ramen in the tummy, yum yum yummy, ramen in the tummy. Oh how I love the ramen taste, it's a taste that you can't let go to waste. Just add water and then heat it up, once it's nice and hot you eat it up," Naruko sang while eating. "What kind of song was that?" asked Ino. "It's just a little song that me and Naruto-chan came up with when we were young. We always used to sing it every time we ate ramen," Naruto added. "By the way, I'm curious. What was it like with you two growing up?" Ino questioned them. "Well, when I was younger, my mom Asuka told me about how she and Aunt Kushina used to always compete for Uncle Minato's affections in high school," said Naruko. "Really, no way. It's true, they were both totally nuts about him. Apparently Uncle Minato was quite the ladies' man back then, he was like the Prince Charming of the whole school. Aunt Kushina wanted him for sure, but my mom wasn't giving up without a fight though." Naruko's right. Dad told me that they would do anything to win him over. They both tried singing to him, giving him love letters, flirting with him. But in the end, my mom was victorious," explained Naruto. "And of course they stayed together all the way through senior year, college and even graduation. Later on, they got married, and of course, years later, Naruto-chan was born." "But how were you born, Naruko?" asked Ino. Oh, that's right. Sometime after my aunt and uncle got together, my mother decided to move on. Pretty soon, she met another handsome man, fell in love with him, and after dating a few months, she married him, and then afterwards about 9 months later, I was born. Interesting, but how did you end up with similar names? Aunt Asuka and my mother made a bet that if one of them were to have a boy first, he would be named Naruto. And we all know who won that bet. Naruto said with a chuckle. Oh, and I suspect that your aunt named your cousin Naruko because of how you looked alike. Ino assumed. Yeah, said the two cousins. So did you two grow up together? For the most part, yes. Naruto-chan and I were inseparable, we did everything together. We played with toys, we took baths, played hide and seek, watched cartoons, and we even shared a bed together. Said Naruko cheerfully. Yeah, what she said. Agreed Naruto, albeit sheepishly. We had a lot of fun together. And also, we even had our first key. Naruto clamped a hand over his cousin's mouth to silence her. I think that's enough for now. Wait a minute, what was she about to say just now? Asked Ino. Just some random gibberish, that's all. He said nervously. Naruko pulled his hand off her mouth before she continued speaking. I was going to say that me and Naruto-chan had our first. Naruto grabbed the remote and turned up the volume on the TV to drown out Naruko's words. Ah, much better. But Ino snatched the remote and put it on mute. Go on Naruko, she said. As I was saying, me and Naruto-chan had our first kitchen together. That's right, we had our very own kitchen together. Naruto interrupted. What's with you Naruto, what don't you want me to know about? Nothing Ino. It's nothing, honest. He lied. As I was saying, again, me and Naruto-chan had our first kiss together. Naruko finally said. Naruto's cheeks blushed bright red with extreme embarrassment after hearing his cousin reveal such a personal experience. He looked at Ino from the corner of his eye and saw the big grin on her face. Ooh Naruto, you sneaky rascal. She mused while pinching his cheek. Okay, it's true. We did kiss, but it was a long time ago. I was 10 years old at the time and I was curious about kissing since my parents always kissed a lot. When I asked Naruko about it, she got the bright idea that me and her should kiss each other to see what it was like. And as crazy as it sounded, I went along with it. But in my opinion, that didn't count as an official first kiss. And I might add, his lips were so soft and tender. They were so warm that Naruko started to say. Ew, don't say that, that's gross. Naruto screamed. What's the matter, are you afraid that I might get some ideas? Ino teased. No, it's just embarrassing. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Lots of cousins practice kissing when they get curious at a young age. Naruko assured him. Look, let's just forget about it and watch TV. Sure, whatever you say. After they finished eating their ramen, Ino picked up the remote and began flipping through random channels until she found something she liked. And pretty soon, she finally did. Ooh, Kiss XSIS, one of my favorites. Said Ino. What's it about? Asked Naruto. Oh nothing really, it just centers around a young 16-year-old boy living with two twin stepsisters, going through the wonders of everyday life. He doesn't know what it's really about. But he'll find out soon. She thought with a grin. As time went by, Naruko and Ino were enjoying the show, laughing at all the funny parts. But Naruto was beginning to feel uncomfortable due to some specific scenes throwing him off slightly. The girls noticed his condition and couldn't resist the urge to tease him. What's wrong Naruto-chan, is it too much for you? Asked a giggling Naruko. This is so crazy. I can't understand how one teenage boy like him can handle being around two stepsisters who behave like that. He said with discomfort. Are you jealous that you aren't living like that? Teased Ino. Hell no, I'm fine with my life the way it is. Besides, I'm not into incest. Are you sure, big boy? She asked with seduction while touching his hand. Yeah, are you really sure, Naruto-chan? Cooed Naruko as she ran her hand through his hair. For God's sake, will you two please stop it? He responded after pushing them away. But this would only make things worse in Naruto's case. The next thing he knew, both girls practically attached themselves to him, with their arms wrapped around his neck and waist, along with their legs entwined around his own. Naruto-kun, we love you. They cooed childishly. Get off me, he protested. But your body is so warm, said Ino. And you're so cuddly too, said Naruko. Come on, get off, he protested again. Naruto-kun, they said again while making puppy dog eyes. Naruto's face. LL. Just as they started nuzzling his cheeks, Naruto's cell phone started ringing from inside his pocket. Girls, do you mind letting me answer my phone? He asked. Can't you just ignore it? Suggested Ino. No, I can't. For all I know, it might be my mom calling to check up on me. And I don't think it'll be easy to talk on the phone with you two clinging to me like metal to a magnet. Fine, whatever. Naruko and Ino did as they were told and gently released Naruto from their embrace. Afterwards, Naruko got up from the couch and headed upstairs to go to the bathroom. Naruto reached into his pocket and took out his phone, looking at the phone ID which read Sakura. He pressed the call button and spoke into the phone. Hello? Hey Naruto, it's been a while. Said a feminine voice. Same here, it's nice to hear from you Sakura. Hey, if I can't talk to one of my childhood friends, who else is there? I don't know, maybe Sasuke? He joked. Very funny. So anyway, how have you been? I've been good. I got 3 days off from work and I don't go back until Tuesday. How about you? I'm alright, but my work days are tiring. My boss keeps driving me nuts with all these assignments. And let me tell you, working at a clothing store is not all it's cracked up to be. If you think of it that way, you should try working at a convenience store like me. Or better yet, we could just switch jobs and see what happens. Ha 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 ha, you are so funny. But enough about that. What are you up to? Just sitting at home watching TV. Ahem, excuse me, said Ino with crossed arms. Who is that? Asked Sakura. That's just a girl on TV. He said while smirking at an annoyed Ino. Jerk, she muttered while turning away. Tease, he remarked. Naruto, do you have a girl over there? Sakura asked again. What was that? Don't play dumb with me. Answer the question, is there a girl with you? No, he lied. Don't you dare lie to me. Tell the truth, now. Just before he could answer, Ino snatched the phone from him. Hello Sakura, this is Ino Yamanaka. And if you're wondering, I'm the girl that Naruto's watching TV with. She said, Ino, what are you doing over at Naruto's place? Oh, well, he's my boyfriend. She joked. Don't tell her that, you big liar. Naruto shouted. Oh Naruto, you can't deny our love. It's obvious that you're crazy about me. Gimme my phone back. You didn't say the magic word. Why you little? Am I interrupting something? No, not at all. Naruto and I were just about to cuddle a little. No we weren't, stop lying. Naruto attempted to make a grab for his phone, only for Ino to hold him back by his head. Don't listen to him, he just doesn't want anyone to know about our relationship. We don't have one. Oh darling, you're such a tease. How did you get together exactly? It was love at first sight. Cut it out, give me my phone. Naruto snapped. I think I'm gonna hang up now. Already, but I thought. Having finally lost all his patience, Naruto lunged forward and tackled Ino, forcing them both off of the couch and onto the floor. He used this time to his advantage to take his phone back. Sakura, don't listen to a word she said. Ino and I are not dating in any way, shape or form. He said while casting a glare at the blonde girl underneath him. If you two aren't dating, then why is she at your house? The truth is my mom is engaged to her father. Once they get married, Ino's gonna be my stepsister. Whoa, seriously? Yes. And that's not all, they're out on a date right now and I'm stuck at home with Ino until they come back. I see. Well I gotta go now, it was nice talking to you. Yeah, it was nice talking to you too. Sorry about Ino, she just doesn't know how to mind her own business, and I mean that, literally. Bye Naruto. Bye Sakura. After they both hung up, Naruto turned his attention back to Ino. You just live to torture me, don't you? Don't be like that Naruto-kun, you know I love you. She chirped giddily as she stroked his cheek. But he pushed her hand away. Stop that, this isn't funny. You are really getting on my nerves with your behavior. I've tried to be patient with you, but now I'm at my limit. Starting now and so on, the teasing and playful flirting are gonna stop, and I want them stopped now, he told her. Oh Naruto, such a kidder. But her cheerfulness faded when she saw the angry look in his eyes, indicating that he was being serious. If we're gonna be family, then you need to start acting like it. That means no flirting, no kissing or any of that other stuff. I'm not joking here, understand? Yes, I understand. I didn't mean to make you upset, I just got a little carried away, that's all. I just can't help myself when I tease guys, it's kinda like a natural thing for most girls my age, you know. Said Ino. After a short while, Naruto became calm. Sai, I know you didn't mean to, you were just trying to have fun. Look, I'm sorry for snapping at you so much, maybe I'm not quite used to you just yet. But I'm willing to try again if you promise to just lighten up on the teasing and give me my space, that's all I ask. Okay. If that's what you want, then I'll honor your request. After all, I don't want a stepbrother who hates me. I don't hate you, I just don't like being teased all the time. Whatever, sir, blush a lot. What do you mean by that? See for yourself. He picked up a handheld mirror off the table and looked at his reflection, noticing that his face was as red as a fresh tomato. Well, how about that? What a shock. It seems my teasing really paid off. No, it didn't. Oh, come on, admit it. No, I've got nothing to hide. You do too. Do not. Do too. Do not. Do too. Do not. Do too. Do not. Do not. Do not. Do too. Do too. Do too. Do not. Suddenly, Ino turned the tables. Do not. She spoke up. Do too. He replied without suspicion. Ha, I tricked you. Hey, that's not fair. Too bad, so sad. Naruto suddenly got an idea. Oh yeah, we'll just see about that. With a smirk on his face, Naruto started to tickle her. Ino couldn't hold back as she let loose with uncontrollable laughter. Ha 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 ha, stop it, ha 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 ha. I'm ticklish, ha 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 ha. She said in between laughs. You and Naruko tried to make me laugh earlier, well now I'm getting even. Ino playfully struggled to get loose as Naruto continued to tickle her. Her eyes welled up with tears due to laughing so hard. But the more she moved, the more Naruto had kept up his actions. Surrender and I'll let you go. Naruto demanded playfully. Nay, never, ha 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 ha. Come on, you know you want to. As if, ha 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 ha. If you don't surrender, I'm not stopping. Hey Naruto-chan, pick on somebody your own size. Said none other than Naruko, whom had came back from the bathroom upstairs. Before he could act, Naruko got behind him and began tickling him. Oh no, a sneak attack, ha 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 ha, said a laughing Naruto. But Naruto made a quick comeback by switching his attention to his cousin, tickling her like there was no tomorrow. Ino took advantage by ambushing Naruto from behind like Naruko did. Their laughter erupted through the house as they went on. However, their tickling game came to a stop when they heard the front door coming open. They got up off the floor and looked to see Kushina and Inoichi walking in. Inoichi was a man in his late 30s or early 40s. He had long blonde hair, which was spiky on the top while the rest was tied up in a ponytail. He also had a firmly built physique, along with bluish-green eyes and a well-defined jawline. We're back, announced Kushina. Hey mom, greeted Naruto. Hey dad, greeted Ino. Hi Aunt Kushina, said a cheerful Naruko as she rushed up and hugged her. Well, if it isn't my adorable niece. You've really grown since I last saw you, said Kushina. My mom says I'm on the way to becoming a true Uzumaki woman. No problem there. I'd expect something like that from my sister Asuka. Ooh, is this handsome guy your new fiancé? She asked with a smirk while looking at Inoichi. Yes, he is. So, you're Inoichi Yamanaka. It's nice to meet you, said Naruto who walked up to him. Naruto Uzumaki, at last we meet. Kushina has told me a lot about you, said Inoichi as they shook hands. Same here, she talked about you every day and night. What can I say, my dad's quite a catch. You should have seen him in his school years, Ino said while grinning. Inoichi became embarrassed at his daughter's comment. You didn't need to say that, Ino, he replied. Well anyway, how did everything go? Asked Kushina. It was great. Me and Naruto really got to know each other better. In fact, you could say we bonded a little. Ino explained. Is this true, Naruto? Yeah mom. We had a lot of fun together. Of course it got even better when Naruko came by, said Naruto with a fake smile. If I told her what really happened, she'd probably think I'm crazy. Thought Naruto. Have you eaten already? Yeah, we ate some ramen. Figures, you just can't get enough of that stuff. Right. Anyways, it's late and I'm really tired, I'm going up to bed. Naruto let out a yawn and stretched himself a bit before turning to head upstairs. Yeah, I'm tired too. I guess me and my dad should get going now, said Ino. Actually that won't be necessary. Kushina and I talked it out, so we decided that you should spend the night here, said Inoichi. What? And we agreed that Naruto would share his bed with you, said Kushina. Naruto's face. Oh. What? Said a shocked Naruto. I'm sure that Naruto would be more than willing to agree, right Naruto? Naruto turned his head to make a response, only to see the look in his mother's eye. It was a look that meant she was being serious with her decision. Right mom, he replied. Are you sure about this, Dad? Asked Ino. Yes. And besides, you'll get to spend more time with Naruto tomorrow. Plus I had to get up early to be at work by 10 in the morning, and I don't feel right leaving you alone. Inoichi told her. I appreciate that, but I don't have any extra clothes or my toothbrush. Not to worry, I made a quick stop at the house on the way here and packed your things in your bag. I'll bring them in before I leave. Okay, thanks Dad, but if Ino's sleeping in my room, where's Naruko going to sleep, on the couch? Asked Naruto. Now Naruto, don't rush things, your bed is big enough for 3 people, so your cousin will be sleeping with you tonight as well. Said Kushina. Oh joy, just like old times. Squealed Naruko. Great, now I'm not gonna be able to sleep well at all. He thought to himself. If you can afford to share with Sakura, then you can do the same with Ino and Naruko. Mom, don't bring that up again. He screamed. Why not, she's your friend after all. In fact, didn't you tell me that you always had a crush on? La la la, I can't hear you, la la la, I can't hear you. Naruto said while covering his ears. Later that night. This is more like it. Nothing like a hot shower to help wash my troubles away. Said Naruto as he climbed out of his shower with a towel around his waist. He stopped in front of the mirror to look at himself, taking the time to flex his muscles a bit. Even though he wasn't the brightest or the best looking guy, he was no stranger when it came to working out. Every so often when he felt like it, Naruto would spend about 2 hours or more exercising at the gym. But instead of trying to meet girls there like most guys his age, he would go there strictly for physical training and hard work. That's enough flexing for now, time to get dressed and get some shut-eye. Opening his bathroom door, Naruto walked out and went over to his dresser to grab some clothes, taking out a pair of orange and black boxers, some shorts and a white t-shirt. While he mostly slept without a shirt, he chose to wear one due to the fact that he was gonna be sharing his bed with 2 girls. Checking to make sure the coast was clear, Naruto proceeded to get ready for bed. As he went along, he took periodic glances at the bedroom door to make sure that no one would walk in on him. It all stemmed from an embarrassing experience about a year ago during summer break. He remembered the time of when he had left his door unlocked while he was changing, which led to him to being accidentally seen in his boxers by Sakura while she was staying at his place for most of the summer. This moment had haunted them both for days until they decided to forget about it. Luckily for him, Ino and Naruko were changing in the bathroom down the hall, which gave him the privacy he needed for the moment. After putting on his boxers and shorts, he made a grab for his shirt and started to put it on. But unknown to him, 2 particular blondes just so happened to be coming back down the hall towards his room. Ino quietly pushed the door open slightly and peeked her head in, along with Naruko. Upon catching a glimpse of Naruto, they nearly became wide-eyed at the sight of his muscular build. Naruko almost squealed with excitement, but Ino covered her mouth to keep her quiet. Stay quiet. If he hears us he'll think we were watching him the whole time. Whispered Ino. Sorry, muttered Naruko. I got an idea. Let's sneak up on him and take him by surprise. Pushing the door open some more, Ino and Naruko silently tiptoed their way towards him. They giggled quietly to each other as they got closer. But before they could do anything, he was quick to catch on. Don't even think about it. He said. Shoot, how did you figure it out? Because after all the times Naruko had snuck up on me when we were kids, I've learned to be more aware. The moment he turned to look at them, he nearly gasped and blushed when he saw what they were wearing. Naruko was dressed in an orange nightgown while Ino was wearing a violet-purple one. However, his appearance received a rather odd reaction from Ino, characterized by her reaching a hand forward and touching at Naruto's chest, rubbing it back and forth. His chest, I can feel it through the fabric of his shirt. It's so hard, so smooth and so why, thought Ino while grinning. Ooh, you've got muscles like an athlete. I like that, she said out loud. Naruto grabbed her hand and slid it off. Please don't do that, it's just awkward, he told her. Sorry, couldn't resist. Can I touch it too? Asked Naruko playfully. Don't start this up again you two. It's late at night and I'm in no mood for any more teasing, I just want to get some rest. Naruto was the first to climb into bed as he got under the covers and laid his head down on one of the pillows. Naruko climbed in on the right while Ino climbed in on the left. "You're forgetting something, Naruto," said Ino. "What did I forget?" "To give me a good night kiss." Naruto sat up in bed, looking at Ino with skepticism. "You've gotta be kidding. Ah, come on, there's nothing wrong with a good night kiss. You must be dreaming if you think I'm gonna kiss you goodnight. Why are you so bothered by it? Don't try to sugarcoat it, for all I know it might be a trick." "Please, Naruto? No way. Please? Not happening. Pretty please? Nope. Pretty please with ramen on top? Forget it. Don't be rude, Naruto-chan. Just give her one kiss, that's all she wants," said Naruko. Naruto let out a grunt of annoyance. He knew Ino wouldn't stop bugging him until he gave her a good night kiss. After hearing her say please once again, he finally relented. "If I give you a kiss, will you please let me go to sleep?" "Uh-huh," Ino replied. "Fine. One kiss on the cheek, that's it." "Okay." Despite his hesitation, Naruto slowly leaned in and gave her a small, light kiss on the cheek. This caused her to giggle like a little schoolgirl. "There, happy now?" "Yes." "Great, now good night." "Hey, what about my kiss?" asked Naruko. But Naruto was already fast asleep within seconds. Oh well. After shrugging her shoulders, she turned out the lamp on the nightstand and lied down. "Good night, Ino." "Good night, Naruko," she replied before lying down as well. Throughout most of the night, all three blondes slept peacefully. Although Naruko had stirred a little in bed while trying to get more comfortable, it didn't bother Naruto in the slightest. So far, everything was nice and quiet at this time. Up until now. Oh yeah, that's the stuff, baby," said Ino in her sleep. Naruto's eyes sprang open after what he heard. He turned his head to look at Ino, who had a smile on her face. "What's that? You want to cuddle with me? I thought you'd never ask." She's talking in her sleep. Could she be dreaming? Thought Naruto. Ooh, you naughty boy. Does someone need attention? She asked to no one in particular. Naruto chose to ignore it and tried to go back to sleep. But he got wide-eyed when Ino wrapped her arms around him and snuggled her body up against his, nuzzling her face in his neck. However, what really threw him off was when she licked his cheek, sending a shiver down his spine. You taste good." Grimacing in disgust, the blonde teenager used whatever room he had to remove Ino's arms from around his body and turn her over to the left. He wiped away the saliva on his cheek soon after. He once again tried to fall asleep, but this wasn't to be the case as Ino snuggled herself against him like before, only this time she moved her left leg across his own, entwining them together. "Hold me," she moaned out. Things couldn't possibly get any embarrassing than this. His thoughts were immediately predicted by the sudden actions of Naruko, who also decided to snuggle up with her cousin, pressing herself against him while grabbing his arm and putting it around her waist. "Naruto-chan, so warm," she muttered. "Good grief, why is this happening to me?" Naruto tried to free himself. But with both girls cuddling him like a stuffed animal, escape was not an option at this point. Damn it, if I had known this was gonna happen, I would have slept on the couch downstairs. But what happened next was the icing on the cake. Without even getting a warning, Naruto felt something moist and soft press onto his lips. To his shock, he saw that it was Ino, whom was kissing him. His eyes became even wider than ever, almost as wide as a dinner plate. He tried to break away, but Ino placed a hand behind his neck to hold him still, all the while deepening the kiss. Why the hell is she doing this? Is the dream so intense that she's literally acting on it? Naruto cried out in protest as Ino continued to kiss him, but she didn't even try to break it, nor did she even open her eyes. Halfway during the kiss, Naruto cringed and shivered upon feeling Ino's tongue slide into his mouth, moving around the inside before pressing against his own. She kept up the French kiss for another 2 minutes, taking in as much of Naruto's taste as she could get. Then finally, she ended it before lying back on her pillow, licking her lips and forming a soft smile on her face. Naruto just lied there with his eyes still open, along with his mouth. He had just been passionately kissed by a dreaming Ino. He was so heavily embarrassed and humiliated that he couldn't even move a muscle. "Her tongue was in my mouth, her tongue was in my mouth," he said in a quiet but disturbed tone. Ino opened one eye to glance at the traumatized Naruto, giggling quietly with amusement. "I've been waiting all day until nighttime to pull this off. I just love teasing this guy, I'm gonna be so happy to live with him." thought Ino. After that, she went back to sleep, followed shortly by Naruto once he lightened up. Later the next day, Naruto was lounging in bed with a smile on his face, as he waited patiently for a certain someone to join him. "Naruto-kun, where are you, my darling?" asked a seductive female voice. "I'm waiting in the bedroom for you, babe," he replied with equal seduction. He watched with anticipation as the door was slowly pushed open. Soon, a beautiful blonde woman entered the room, dressed in a silky threaded nightgown. She seductively walked over to the bed and crawled up close to Naruto, moving herself on top of him. She stared into his eyes as he stared back at hers. "I've waited so long for this moment, Naruto-kun. And now I finally have you to myself. You just kept on trying until you finally got me. Well, I'm persistent that way." "Oh really? Well, I must be pretty lucky." They soon started to lean in for a kiss. "Oh Naruto-kun. Oh Ino-chan." Both blondes closed their eyes and puckered up as they closed in. It was only a matter of, "Oh my god," screamed Naruto as he woke up. He took a deep breath and wiped the sweat from his forehead while sitting up. "Naruto, what's wrong?" asked Kushina with worry as she rushed into the room. "Nothing mom, I'm okay," he assured her, "but I heard you screaming. It was just a bad dream, that's all. Are you sure you're okay?" "Yes, I'm fine." "I see. Well, anyway, I was on my way here to wake you up for breakfast. Your cousin and Ino are both waiting for you." "Oh, what are we having?" "Pancakes and sausage, along with orange juice." "Okay, I'll be right there after I wash up and get dressed." "Alright then, but don't take too long." "I won't." After Kushina left the room, Naruto climbed out of bed and headed into his bathroom to take a shower. While he was getting cleaned up, he couldn't help thinking about the dream he recently had. "That was some weird dream I had. It's so strange, I've never had dreams like that before, especially about someone who teases the hell out of me. I can't think of her that way, she's family. I mean, at least she's going to be anyway. But still I wonder, what was the reason for that dream anyway?" Once he was cleaned and dressed, Naruto made his way down the hall. He was wearing a black short-sleeved shirt with a green leaf on the front, along with some blue jeans and a pair of shoes. Seriously, what could that dream have meant? As he was reaching the stairs, he could already smell the food in the air. Freshly cooked pancakes topped with maple syrup, accompanied by some delicious sausages. Once he made it to the kitchen, he found Ino, Naruko and his mother all sitting at the table eating breakfast peacefully, with the former two still wearing their nightgowns while the latter was fully dressed. "Good morning Naruto-chan," greeted Naruko. "Good morning Naruko," he greeted back, not wanting to be rude. "Hey sleepyhead," said Ino. Naruto hesitated a bit before eventually saying good morning. He was still uncomfortable from her kiss last night, but as of now, he chose to let it slide for a while. He sat down at the table and started chowing down on the plate of food that was in front of him. He was seated right next to Ino, with Naruko sitting across from them while Kushina was at the head of the table. "So you three, how was your sleep last night?" asked Kushina with a smile. "It was fantastic Aunt Kushina. I loved snuggling up with Naruto-chan," said Naruko. "You got that right. Sleeping with Naruto is a lot better than sleeping alone," said Ino. "You didn't have to say it that way, it sounds creepy," said Naruto in dismay. "So how was your sleep Naruto?" "Well mom, it was." He stopped short to see Ino cast a look at him with from the corner of her eye, followed by a wink and a crafty smirk. Afterwards, he continued, "It was fine. I had no problem sleeping at all." Naruto lied. "That's great. I have to say that I'm really proud of how you've gotten along so well with Ino. You seem more like siblings already." "Yeah, I guess you could say that. I hate having to lie to her like this. But I'm not sure that I can keep this up for much longer. Ino is a very beautiful and why. Wait a minute, that didn't sound right. What's the matter with me?" They suddenly heard a knock at the door. "I wonder who that might be," Naruto said before he stood up from the table and headed out the kitchen. Upon reaching the door, Naruto unlocked it and turned the knob before opening it. He found himself face to face with a beautiful-looking young girl about his age. She had bright green eyes, fair skin and long, bright pink hair with two bangs framing both sides of her face. She kept her hair in place with a red headband, and her attire consisted of a red t-shirt with cherry blossoms on the front, blue shorts and white-laced shoes. It turned out to be Sakura Haruno, a girl whom Naruto has known since they were young. Sakura was one of the few girls he was close to, aside from his cousin. As far back as he could remember, they always used to play together, along with Naruto's other close friend, Sasuke. Naruto also remembered how he developed a crush on Sakura in the second grade when she cheered him up by sharing a box of cookies with him after she found him eating lunch alone, followed by giving him a friendly kiss on the cheek, though he assumed it was more than that. But over time, his feelings for her had begun to fade away, though deep down he still retained some degree of affection towards her. "Hey Sakura, it's great to see you," he greeted with a smile as he let her in. "Great to see you too, Naruto. It's been so long since I last came over for a visit." She replied, "We were just having some breakfast, you can join us if you want to." "No thanks, I already ate before I came by. But I'd love to come in." Naruto kindly stepped aside as Sakura walked in. He closed the door and locked it back before following Sakura to the kitchen where the others were. "Hello Sakura," greeted Kushina. "Hello Kushina. Hi there, my name is Naruko. I'm Naruto-chan's cousin," greeted Naruko. "Naruto-chan? Yeah, that's kind of like a nickname she gave me years ago." Naruto pointed out. "Oh, I see. Well, it's nice to meet you, Naruko. And you probably already know Ino, since you spoke on the phone yesterday," he mentioned while casting an annoyed look at said blonde girl. After that, he motioned to a chair next to Naruko at the table for Sakura to sit down, which she did. He then sat back down in his own chair and resumed eating his breakfast. "So Sakura, how are you this morning?" Kushina asked. "I'm alright. I was lucky that I didn't have to go to work today since my boss let me have time off to relax while someone else took over my shift. So I decided to use my day off as an opportunity to come see Naruto." But suddenly, Naruto flinched a little upon feeling a hand touch his leg. He directed his eyes to Ino, who had a sneaky grin on her face, cleverly disguised as a normal one. While no one was looking, he moved his hand over to push hers away. But Ino was just getting started. "So are you making plans for college, Sakura?" "Yes I am. I plan on studying in college to become a doctor. It's been my dream ever since I was a little girl." Interesting. Your mom told me that you always wanted to be a dancer when you grew up." "I know, but that was just my imagination. So I've moved on from that." "Hey Sakura, do you have a boyfriend?" asked a smirking Naruko. "Actually, between going to school and having a job, I don't really have time for a boyfriend," Sakura replied. "Ooh, is there anyone that floats your boat?" "Excuse me? You know, someone that makes you feel tingly inside." "What are you saying?" "I mean somebody that makes your heart beat like a drum. Someone who makes your eyes sparkle with passion, or maybe even someone who's so good looking that he takes your breath away. Can you run that by me again?" Naruko's face. _LL. "Is there anyone you have a crush on?" "Oh, well actually there is a guy the first used to have a huge crush on, but we never really got anywhere beyond just being friends. So after a while, I just got over him and moved along with my life." That's too bad. But don't worry, there's still plenty of guys to go out with. Thanks for the support." Ino once again placed her hand on Naruto's leg before proceeding to rub it, earning a shiver from the young teen. And like before, he pushed her hand off. "Ino, stop it," he whispered through gritted teeth. "Stop what?" she asked teasingly. "You know what I'm talking about." "I don't believe I do. Just quit touching me at the table, it's rude. I don't think anyone minds it." "Well I do, now knock it off." "Knock off what? Just stop it already," he screamed out loud. His sudden outburst earned him looks of surprise and confusion from everyone at the table, except for Ino, who merely snickered in amusement. "Is something wrong, Naruto-chan?" asked Naruko. Naruto's face. LL. Naruto just chuckled in embarrassment while rubbing the back of his head. "It's nothing, really. Sorry about that," he replied sheepishly. "I can't believe I yelled like that, I'm such an idiot. Why couldn't Ino just leave me alone?" Ino soon decided to change the subject. "Hey Sakura, since you and Naruto are such close friends, perhaps you wouldn't mind sharing about what you two used to do together as kids?" suggested Ino. "I'll admit we've had some pretty fun times together. But it's been such a long time that I don't even know where to start." Sakura replied. "Well, if you must know, they were as close to each other during childhood than they are now. In fact, Naruto always used to get so excited every time he saw her or even heard her name. He always said things like mommy, mommy, Sakura's here, or maybe I can't wait to see Sakura, I'm so happy mommy." Sometimes he even got excited to the point where he constantly talked about how much he loved playing with her. Kushina explained. Mom said an embarrassed Naruto with his head down on the table. Oh honey, it's alright. It's nothing to get worried about. Buck up Naruto. Things will be even more fun now that Sakura is here with us, said Ino while patting his head. Well, I hope you all have some fun together, because I'm going shopping today. Naruto's head shot up when he heard those words. You're leaving again? Yes, Makoto and I made plans to go shopping. What a coincidence, Ino here just happens to love shopping. I'm sure she'd be more than willing to tag along with you, Naruto said quickly. Whoa there, you wouldn't be trying to get rid of me, would you, Naruto? Asked Ino. No, not at all. I just think maybe you and my mother would enjoy shopping together. Very tempting, but I'd rather stick around with you. Shoot, so close. What about you, Naruko? No can do, I want to stay here with my favorite cousin, she said cheerfully. Sorry dear, but today's shopping is for mothers only, said Kushina. How do I know you're not just making this up? Naruto questioned her. Kushina was about to answer until she heard a car horn beeping from outside. That's Makoto. I gotta get going now, I'll be back soon. When will you be back exactly? Stop asking so many questions, I don't have time for this, she replied in an annoyed tone. Kushina headed out the kitchen to grab her purse off the coffee table and go for the door. But Naruto was quick to follow her. Hey wait, if you and Mrs. Uchiha are going shopping, then what is Sasuke up to? Oh, sorry dear, he's hanging out with his brother today, so he's not available to come visit. But what am I supposed to do while you're gone? He was then approached by Naruko, Ino and Sakura. Don't worry Naruto-chan, everything's gonna be okay, Naruko assured him. Yeah, it'll just be the four of us hanging out together, said Ino. I wouldn't have a problem if it was just Sakura, but with these two around there's no telling what'll happen. I'm more worried about what they'll do to me. Or worse, if they get Sakura to join them in teasing me, that won't end well, he thought to himself. Be good Naruto, make sure you don't do anything naughty, teased Kushina as she was leaving. That's not funny mom, he replied. After that, she was gone. Naruto turned his attention to the girls, whom, including Sakura, were now grinning at him with mischievous smiles across their lips. He knew that this wasn't a good sign, and he knew it all too well. Why are you smiling like that? He asked nervously. Hey girls, you feel like having some fun with Naruto? Suggested Ino. Sakura and Naruko both nodded. Come on Sakura, not you too, complained Naruto. What's the matter, you're not scared of us, are you? She asked teasingly. Scared, no. Nervous and disturbed, yes. You'll feel a whole lot better after we get done with you, Ino told him. Naruto slowly backed up towards the door as the three girls approached him, licking their lips and giggling. Please girls, can we please just talk about this? Why of course. Really? Nope. Naruto looked around frantically for a way to get around them, but he found his escape routes to be blocked off. He could do nothing but brace himself as they began to close in on him. I am so screwed. At least 2 hours had gone by since Kushina had left, and Naruto was doing the best he could to keep his cool. After he had recovered from the wet kisses that the girls had smothered him with, Naruto had decided to talk to them about what they could do to pass the time. They were sitting in the dining room around the table trying to come up with some ideas. Does anyone have any suggestions for an activity or something? Asked Naruto. I don't really have anything in mind at the moment, said Sakura. Ooh I know, we could play truth or dare, suggested Ino. No way. Absolutely not, no truth or dare, Naruto objected. Or maybe we can go outside and play tag, said Naruko. Then Sakura got an idea. Hey Naruto, remember that game we used to play when we were kids? Asked Sakura. You mean hide and seek? Yeah I remember, he replied. Now that's a game I'd like to play, said Ino with interest. Well, it's been a while since I played that game, but I guess it couldn't hurt. Yay, hide and seek like old times, Datbeo, squealed Naruko. What's Datbeo? Asked a confused Ino. Oh it's nothing, I just like to say it when I get excited, Aunt Kushina does it too. But instead of saying Datbeo asterisk, she says asterisk databane asterisk. Does Naruto ever say it? I still do, but not as much anymore since I'm older, he answered. With all that aside, let's get on with our game, shall we? Asked Sakura. From that point, they proceeded with their game of hide and seek. The girls all ran to hide somewhere while Naruto counted to 20. Once he was done counting, he went off in search of them. He decided on looking for Naruko and Sakura first while saving Ino for last since he knew she would try something funny once he found her. Let's see, where could they be hiding? He wondered with a smile. Meanwhile, so Kushina, how are things between you and Inoichi? Asked Makoto as she and Kushina were walking through the mall. Makoto Uchiha was one of Kushina's best friends since their freshman year in high school. Ever since they had met, the two share a close, almost sister-like bond. Every so often they would hang out together, indulging in their own friendly activities. On a few occasions, they would even invite some of their other friends along. They're going fine, I can't wait until we get married, said Kushina. And how does Naruto feel about this? He was initially uncomfortable, but he's starting to get used to it. He's been getting along with Ino quite well. You should have seen how he acted when I first told him about her. Let me guess, he was freaked out? Yes, he was. He threw a big fit just because he didn't want to share his room with her. That's funny, I thought he would like having a sibling. He always wanted a brother but not a stepsister. So in order to make him cooperate, I told him that I'd cut him off from ramen. Oh really? The two friends shared some laughs with each other as they went on with their conversation. Anyway Makoto, how are your two boys doing? Itachi and Sasuke are alright. Itachi even called to check on me and see how I'm doing. I'm surprised at how you've been so calm and relaxed since you and Fugaku split up. I know, but in truth, I do still miss him. However, he does come over to visit every once in a while. Sasuke is still a little upset that we aren't together anymore, but he's learning to get over it, so is Itachi. But if you're single, how come you haven't started dating again? I'm just not quite ready for another relationship yet. Why not? I just prefer to be single for a while. Many guys have asked me out, but I turned them all down. Well, I don't see any problem with that. If you're not ready to date yet, that's okay. Thanks. Anytime. That's what best friends are for. That's right. Back at home, Naruto was downstairs in the basement, looking around for one of the girls. He stayed focused, searching high and low. I sure hope I don't find Ino down here. I don't want to be hit on again, especially in a basement, thought Naruto. But suddenly, he heard someone sneeze from somewhere in the basement behind a stacked mound of cardboard boxes. Naruto chuckled before going to see who it was. I know someone's back there, he said. Squeak squeak squeak, replied a high-pitched voice. Nice try, but that mouse noise of yours won't work. With a smirk, he pushed the boxes over, which caused them to tumble down, burying whoever was hiding there. The person who emerged from the pile turned out to be Naruko. Ha, I found you. That's one down, 2 to go, he bragged. That wasn't fair Naruto-chan, you cheated, said a pouting Naruko. I don't cheat, I just improvise. After managing to find Naruko, he continued with his search for Sakura. He had a feeling that he'd be able to find her in the one place that she always liked to hide in when they played this hide and seek as kids. He headed through the kitchen and walked out the back door, which led to the backyard, where he found a tree which had a treehouse built on one of the large branches up above, with a rope ladder hanging from it. He chuckled to himself softly as he started to remember the good old days when he, Sasuke and Sakura used to hang out together in that treehouse which he and Minato had built together. Gee, I wonder where Sakura is. She's not under the lawn chair, and she's not in the tool shed. That means she might be up in the treehouse, he said while faking curiosity. Walking over to the tree, he began to climb up the rope ladder to the treehouse. He popped open the hatch door entrance and peeked inside once he reached the top. I knew you'd be up here, Saku. But to his surprise, she wasn't there at all. That's funny, she usually hides in the treehouse. Hey, she must have changed her routine. After making his way back down, he was about to head back inside when he heard a noise coming from inside the tool shed. Feeling curious, Naruto went to check it out. Upon opening it, he found none other than Sakura Haruno, hiding in the shed. Very swift move Sakura, but I still found you. I initially was going to hide in the treehouse, but I decided that habit was too repetitive, she said. That's 2 down, 1 to go. Now I just have to go and find Ino. Even though I really don't want to, he thought hesitantly. During his search for Ino, Naruto took caution. He was well aware of how she loved to tease him, but he found it extremely embarrassing whenever she tried to hit on him. Even though he was aware that she adored him, he continued to turn down her advances, not only because she was getting too persistent, but also because he didn't particularly like her the same way she liked him. To him, the very idea of dating his own stepsister made Naruto feel disgusted. He started off by checking in the bathroom, the pantry, the attic, hesitantly, and the hall closet before deciding to check in his room. He tried looking under his bed and in his bathroom, but Ino was nowhere to be seen. Then, at the last minute, he moved over to his closet and prepared to open it. Gulping nervously, he slowly and cautiously pulled it open. "Ino, are you in there?" whispered Naruto. Once he opened it entirely, his question was answered when Ino suddenly lunged out and tackled him, knocking him to the floor. "You found me at last," she said with a smile. "Damn it, I knew this was gonna happen the moment I found you," he said with annoyance. "Whatever do you mean?" she asked, even though she knew what he meant. "Don't play dumb with me. You were just biding your time by hiding in my closet just so you could pull a trick like this. And don't think even for 1 second that I forgot about what you did last night." "And what exactly was it that I did last night?" "Oh gee, I don't know. Maybe it could be that you talked out loud in your sleep, or perhaps that you spooned me and licked my cheek. Better yet, it could be that you kissed me. Is that so?" "Yes, don't try to deny it. I can't deny that I'm attracted to you, that's for sure." "Yeah, right. Now about that kiss you mentioned." "Yeah, what about it?" She leaned her face down close until her lips were in front of his. "It was the greatest kiss I've ever had," she whispered. "What do you, wait a minute. You did that on purpose, you were just pretending to dream in your sleep so you could kiss me when my guard was down. Ooh, you catch on pretty quick. I like that in a guy. Perhaps you've forgotten that Sakura and Naruko are downstairs waiting. They might think something strange is going on up here." He snarled. "Don't worry, this won't take long." "Ino, wait." Ino cut him off by capturing his lips with hers, engaging him in another kiss. She cupped his face in her hands to hold him in place when he tried to turn away. Naruto's face. Oh. But it wasn't long before Ino finally broke the kiss, looking down at the traumatized male underneath her. "You are so cute," she commented. After that, she got up off of him and went walking out of the room. Naruto, however, had stayed motionless on the floor without even moving a muscle. But after a few seconds, he finally managed to stand back up, shaking his head to snap out of his trauma. "This is a new low, even for her," he said while wiping his mouth. He then left the room and headed downstairs where the girls were waiting for him on the couch. "Hey, what happened up there?" asked Naruko. "Nothing, I just happened to find Ino in the closet. We spent a few minutes talking, that's all." Naruto lied. "What were you and Ino talking about?" "Nothing major, just some family stuff." "Like what?" "It doesn't matter, okay, just drop it." "Whatever. So, how about we continue our game?" Actually, let's just stop there and do something else." But I wanted to be next," whined Ino. "Sorry, but I just don't feel like playing anymore." "HMPH, no fair." "Cheer up Ino, we'll just do something else like Naruto said." Sakura assured her. Let's see. What else can we do to pass the time?" he wondered. "Truth or dare?" suggested Ino. "Nope, we're not playing that." "What's your problem with truth or dare?" "It's personal, that's all." "Come on Naruto, just fess up. Why don't you want to play truth or dare?" "I said it's personal," he replied as he began to lose patience. "And why is it personal?" "It just is." "Why?" "Because it's embarrassing, that's why," he shouted. The girls were all taken aback by Naruto's sudden outburst. And judging from how angry he sounded, it was clear that he wanted nothing to do with the game. "Ino, maybe you should just let it go. If he says he doesn't want to play truth or dare, then we shouldn't force him into it," said Sakura. "Fine, forget it," she replied with a pout. "Oh, it's nothing to be upset about Ino. Naruto-chan is just angry because of his experiences with truth or dare in the past." Naruko told her. "She's right," said Naruto after calming down. "Why exactly do you hate truth or dare so much?" asked Ino. "I just don't like having to do embarrassing things all the time." "Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea." "It's okay. But I know what'll cheer you up." "What?" Without another word, she tackled him to the floor once more and started to tickle him just like yesterday. "Ha ha 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 ha, not this again, ha 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 ha," he said while laughing uncontrollably. "Hey girls, I could use some help." "Gladly," said Naruko and Sakura as they joined in. Naruto tried with all his might to retaliate, but with all three girls tickling him at once, he found it difficult to accomplish. Later on, after they got through with their little tickle fest, the four teens chose to spend the rest of their time by talking about the good old days. Some of the things they talked about practically made them laugh the whole time. "Gee Naruto, I never knew you were afraid of ghosts," said a laughing Ino. "He's not the only one, I'm afraid of ghosts too," said Sakura. "Yeah, well it is true. When I was a little boy, my babysitter always used to scare me and Naruko by telling ghost stories or pretending to be a ghost," said Naruto. "Who was your babysitter?" Ino asked. "Her name was Enko Mitarashi. She always used to babysit us whenever our parents went out together on Saturdays. She'd let us stay up late, eat snacks, play games and watch movies," said Naruko. "She sounds like a fun person." "Are you kidding? She always knew how to have fun." Right. So anyway, I've been feeling curious about something, Naruto." "What is it?" he replied. "I know that you and Sakura are really close friends. But what about your other friend, Sasuke?" "Sasuke? Yeah, you two have almost nothing in common, yet you're best friends. How do you get along so well?" "Well, Sasuke and I have been friends since childhood. We just hung out together a lot and even played together a few times. Even though we had different thoughts and opinions about certain things, we never let our differences affect our friendship. Sasuke's a great guy, though he can be a jerk at times. But all in all, he's a great friend," said Naruto. "Naruto's right. Sasuke tends to be a bit of a loner for the most part. He doesn't really socialize much. For as long as I've known him, he barely says more than just a few words. After that, he just stays silent," explained Sakura. "Do you have a crush on him, Sakura?" asked a smiling Naruko. "It's complicated," she replied with blushing cheeks. "Okay, then what about Naruto-chan, do you?" "Hold it, leave me out of that," Naruto interrupted. "Oh come on Naruto-chan. I know that there's some chemistry between you two, there has to be." "Naruko, it's not what you think. Naruto and I are just friends," said Sakura. "Yeah, right. That's how it starts out, and then before you know, it blossoms into more than that. I'm serious, we're just friends." Liar, pants on fire. Sakura started to lose her patience as a tick mark began to form on her forehead. Sakura's face, sad face underscore. "I told you, we're just friends," she said through gritted teeth. "Oh really, because I bet that you have romantic dreams about him every so often." "Naruko, knock it off. You're only making her mad," Naruto warned her, but she didn't even listen to his warning as she continued with her teasing. "Come on, admit it. Somewhere deep down in your heart, you've got the hots for my cousin here. Don't you want to hold him, maybe snuggle him, look into his blue eyes and perhaps starts things off with a nice, romantic key?" At this rate, Sakura finally lost it. She nearly tried to make a grab for Naruko, only for Naruto to hold her back. "For the last time, Naruto and I are just friends. That's all we'll ever be, nothing more," screamed Sakura with rage. "Sakura, calm down, control yourself," Naruto said while trying to calm her. Naruko was taken aback by Sakura's aggressive reaction. She had never thought that anyone besides her cousin would snap in such a manner. "You didn't need to tease her like that, Naruko," Naruto scolded. "I'm sorry, I just got carried away," said Naruko. "Ooh, awkward," commented Ino. After Sakura finally got calm, Naruto released her. "Are you okay?" he asked her. "Yeah, I'm fine. It's just that I don't like it when people tease me," she replied. "Join the club," he said in agreement. "All I simply did was ask if you had a crush on Naruko, just drop it already. Love isn't something that we want to talk about right now." "Fine, have it your way." After a short while, Naruto got up from the couch and headed off for the stairs. "Where are you going?" asked Sakura. "I'm going upstairs to take a nap." "Why, it's still early. I just need some time to rest for a while. If you need anything, let me know." "Well, I guess that's fine with me," said Ino. "I don't mind," said Naruko. "It's okay with me too," said Sakura. "Thanks for understanding." After that, he went walking up the steps to the second floor. Once he was out of sight, the girls went on to talk among each other. "That Naruto is really something, huh?" asked Ino, trying to start a conversation. Not really. He may overreact sometimes, but he's a good guy," Sakura replied. "I will admit that Naruto-chan does tend to get carried away sometimes. Sure, he's not the brightest or the most popular boy around, however he does have his upsides. He's always confident with what he does, he's very helpful, and he's never afraid to speak his mind." That's what Uncle Minato taught him as he grew up, said Naruko. Oh yeah, I almost forgot that Naruto's father passed away 2 years ago. He may not always show it, but deep down, he still feels pain and sadness over losing him. Really? Ino asked. Yeah, he doesn't really like talking about him. It brings up too many memories. Well, actually I know how he feels about losing a parent. My mom died from cancer when I was 8 years old. Ino confessed with a sad tone. Sakura and Naruko were both shocked at what they heard. Oh my gosh, I had no idea. I didn't really want to say it around Naruto because I was afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid that he might not understand. Understand what? Asked Sakura. The real reason as to why I do what I do. After my mom died, I started masking my pain and grief by acting cheerful and playful around others. If they know how I'm really feeling, then they'll just take pity on me. It's too much. Is that why you were teasing Naruto-chan? Asked Naruko. You're only partially correct. While it is true, I also did for another reason. Why? She soon perked up with a smile. Because I just like seeing his reactions whenever I push his buttons. It just makes me laugh. Plus, I just adore that boy so much, he's so darn cute, oh baby. Of course they don't need to know that. I'm planning on nipping this in the bud for as long as I can. That's a promise, thought Ino. Meanwhile upstairs, Naruto was in his room lying on his bed, taking a nap. He turned over on his left as he tried to get comfortable. But for the past several minutes, he kept waking himself up due to the unusual images that were repeatedly popping into his head like a recurring theme. After waking up once more, he sat up in bed. What is going on here? Why am I getting all these weird images in my head? He wondered to himself. He placed a hand to his chin as he tried to think about what was happening. Could it have something to do with that dream I had? After thinking it over some more, Naruto lied back down and went to sleep. Dream sequence. Naruto gently kissed and caressed the beautiful girl underneath him, running one hand through her soft, long hair while using the other to hold onto her. She switched their positions on the bed by rolling Naruto onto his back, lying on top of him while continuing to kiss him. Oh Naruto, you are so why, she said after breaking the kiss. Right back at ya, Ino. Naruto replied. She then continued where she left off by kissing him once more, running her hands through his spiky blonde hair before proceeding to rub her left hand along his chest, admiring his physical build. She then began to kiss him even more passionately, brushing her tongue at his lips to gain access. Naruto willingly opened his mouth and allowed her to slip. Oh god no! Naruto yelled as he sprang up from the bed, breathing heavily. He wiped the sweat from his forehead before getting up and heading into his bathroom. He splashed himself with water from the sink 3 times and then dried off his face with a towel. Why the hell am I having these crazy dreams? What could they possibly mean? He suddenly heard his phone ringing on his nightstand. He walked over and picked it up, looking at the caller ID which read Kiba. Pressing call asterisk, he brought the phone up to his ear. Hello? What's up Naruto, it's Kiba, said a voice over the phone. Hey Kiba, what's going on pal? Nothing, I'm just bored as usual. Hana's off at work, the dogs are outside and my mom's taking a nap. So what's new with you? I'm just hanging out at home with Ino, Sakura and my cousin. Your cousin? Yes, my twin cousin Naruko. The girl who looks a lot like me, you've met her before. Oh yeah, now I remember. She was the girl who poured that bowl of punch on me at your 12th birthday party. Yeah, that was pretty funny. So anyway, me and a few others are getting together at the movies, afterwards we'll go out to lunch somewhere. I called to see if you were interested in joining us. You bet I am, count me in. Awesome dude, I'm looking forward to seeing you. Don't worry, I'll be there. By the way, is it okay if I bring Ino, Naruko and Sakura along? Sure, it's fine. Great, we'll be there soon. Alright, see y'all later then. Bye Kiba. After they both hung up, Naruto placed his phone in his pocket and headed out into the hallway. He came back downstairs to see the girls still sitting on the couch conversing among one another. Well, look who's up. So how was your nap? Asked Ino. It was fine, I just needed some rest. He replied. Really? Well if it was so fine then why did I hear you yell oxygen monohydride god no? Ahihi, sometimes I just like screaming random things when I sleep, no big deal. Don't play dumb, you had a bad dream, didn't you? That's none of your business. Yeah, right, forget about it, okay. I got a call from Kiba inviting me to meet him and some friends at the movies. I told him that I'd be there, and I was hoping that maybe you'd all want to come with me." "Ooh, a movie outing. I'm so there," said Naruko. "Count me in," agreed Ino. "I guess seeing a movie sounds like a good idea," replied Sakura. "Great. With more people around, they'll keep Ino busy for a while," he thought. Later, well, so Naruto Uzumaki knows how to drive. "What a surprise," said Ino, whom was riding in the passenger seat of Naruto's car. Sakura and Naruko were seated in the back, while Naruto was driving. "Thanks, I appreciate the compliment," said a sarcastic Naruto. "Oh come on, you know I'm just kidding. I never noticed. Anyway, when did you get your license?" "Last year during my junior year of high school. And I'm guessing that you saved up a lot of money in order to get a car. Having a paying job really helps." "Right. Where do you work again?" "I work at a convenience store in town. It's not much, but at least it helped me in the long run. After all, I had to do something to help keep the bills paid." "I see. Well, I don't really bring this up very much, but me and my father have our own flower shop." "What, you're kidding," said Naruko. "I don't kid about these things. So that means you're rich?" "No, nothing like that. Although we have a lot of money, we aren't billionaires or anything." "So am I to assume that you regularly use it to buy whatever you want?" "Ha ha ha ha, no silly. I may be into shopping and all, but I won't constantly buy everything I see." While Ino and Naruko had their girl talk, Sakura was listening to music on her MP3 player while Naruto kept his eyes focused on the road. However, every so often he would take periodic glances at Ino from the corner of his eye. Why he was doing this was something he couldn't comprehend. Something about her obviously got his attention, and he didn't know what it was. "Look at her, she's such a beautiful girl. I wish I could hold her in my arms, look into her shiny blue eyes and tell her I." Naruto shook his head in an attempt to get rid of such a thought from his mind. He felt rather disturbed and uneasy after thinking about Ino that way. But suddenly, the images from his dreams started flowing through his brain. He once again shook his head too as he tried to suppress them. "Get out of my head, get out of my head, get out of my head," he said repeatedly while clutching his head with one hand. "Naruto, what's wrong with you?" asked Ino. What's wrong with you? Why were you saying get out of my head over and over again?" "No reason, just some random habit," he said with a smirk. "You're not lying to me, are you?" No, not at all." "Positive?" "Yes." "Are you serious?" "Yeah." About an hour later, they finally arrived at their destination. Naruto pulled into the parking lot of the theater and found a space that was close nearby. Afterwards, he and the girls all got out of the vehicle and walked up to the entrance, where they found Kiba waiting for them. "Hey, glad you could make it," greeted Kiba. "You know I wouldn't miss out on an opportunity to hang with my friends," said Naruto, giving him a high five. "Hi Kiba, long time no see," greeted Naruko with a wave. Kiba nearly went wide-eyed the moment he looked at her. He was obviously surprised by how beautiful she was, he almost couldn't even speak up. But he snapped out of it the moment she spoke again. "It's been so long since we last met years ago." "Yeah, it sure has," he replied. Kiba, I thought you said that the others would be here." "Where are they?" asked Naruto. "Oh, they're already here. I just decided to stand out here while waiting for you to show up." Sasuke and Itachi couldn't make it though. "Aw man, oh goody, I'm gonna meet more of Naruto-chan's friends," said a cheerful Naruko. "Ha ha ha, Naruto-chan, that name sounds so funny," said a chuckling Kiba. Yeah, I get it," said Naruto with slight annoyance as he walked by him and into the theater. Once they were all inside, Naruto was suddenly grabbed in a playful headlock by a girl with brown hair which was tied up in two buns, fair skin and dark brown eyes. "What's up Naruto?" she greeted while giving him a noogie. "Ha, you still know how to take me by surprise, Tenten," he replied before breaking away. Unlike most girls he had met, Tenten was more of the tomboyish type. Naruto had known her for years since middle school, and even though they didn't hang out as much, they were still good friends nonetheless. He remembered all the times how she would constantly sneak up on him and grab him in a headlock when he least expected it. What can I say, some old habits just don't fade away like always. "Don't forget that you always did it to me too," Kiba remarked with a smirk. "Hey Tenten, there's someone that I'd like you to meet," announced Naruto. "Really, who?" she asked. Naruto gestured for his cousin to step forward, which she did. Tenten, this is my cousin Naruko. Hi there, it's nice to meet you, Tenten. Naruko said with a smile. Nice to meet you too. Up until now Naruto never told me he had a cousin. Oh, it's okay. Naruto-chan isn't one to talk about family very often. Tenten couldn't help but laugh after what she heard, which made Naruto groan in dismay. Naruto-chan, what a goofy nickname, ha ha ha. Naruto just decided to forget about it and move on. Along the way he met up with some more of his high school friends waiting for him in the lobby. Among them were Shikamaru Nara, his girlfriend Tamari, Choji Akamichi, Shino Aburame and Hinata Hyuga. Hey everyone, Naruto greeted with a wave. Hey Naruto, replied Shikamaru in an unenthusiastic tone, which earned him an annoyed look from his girlfriend. Is that how you always speak to everyone, with that unexcited voice of yours? Asked Tamari. I spoke up, didn't I? Yeah you did, but you could have been more upbeat a little. No wonder your mom considers you to be lazy. It's okay Tamari. I don't mind at all, I'm used to it. Naruto assured her. But still, it couldn't hurt for him to be a little more active once in a while. By the way, where's Gaara and Kankuro? My brothers couldn't make it. I kept trying to talk them into coming along, but they didn't want to. Ah, I was hoping to at least see Gaara. You know how he is, he just doesn't like to get out a lot. As for Kankuro, he'd rather spend time making more of those annoying puppets instead of hanging out. They're not the only ones. I tried to convince Neji to come, but he just straight up said he wasn't interested. Tenten added in, well, not everyone is interested in seeing movies. Said Choji, I don't know about any of you, but I'm definitely ready for some movie time. Said Ino, me too. Said Naruko, oh, I almost forgot. Everyone, this is my cousin Naruko. Naruko, these are my friends Shikamaru, Tamari, Choji, Hinata and Shino. Naruto announced. Hi everybody, it's nice to meet you all. Naruko greeted. Naruto's friends all responded with their own greetings, with the exception of Shino, who only waved at her, and Hinata, whom barely even said one word at all, particularly due to the shyness she was feeling from seeing Naruto. Out of most of Naruto's friends, Shino was not one to speak up very often. Whenever he did, he would say no more than even 2 or 3 words. This caused most people to assume that he was almost always giving everyone the silent treatment. But what was most notable about Shino was his knowledge of insects, something even Naruto himself was baffled about. Hinata on the other hand was not as social or active as the other girls Naruto was friends with. Even though she was kind, polite, well-mannered and respectful, she seemed to have trouble with speaking to Naruto whenever he was around her. Anytime he was in her presence, she would always become incredibly shy, which is further noticeable due to the blush on her face. Naruto would often find himself confused and somewhat perplexed at her shyness, mainly because of how he is unaware of her secret crush on him. One of Naruto's other friends, such as Shikamaru Nara, was the kind of individual who some people would almost never take seriously. While many would see him as just some lazy slacker, Shikamaru was in fact a very intelligent guy. In some cases, he has been known to show off his intellectual capabilities whenever he wasn't sleeping in class. Choji Akamichi for the most part was more interested in eating various foods and snacks when he wasn't thinking about school or anything else. He was almost never seen without carrying around some form of snack, most notably a bag of potato chips. However, he has been known to lose his temper when someone calls him fat, a fact that Naruto had learned when he previously referred to him as such during one time in school. Tamari, Shikamaru's girlfriend, was considered by many to be the toughest girl around school. Though she rarely ever picked fights with anyone, some students knew better than to cross her, especially if she was in a bad mood. On a lighter note, some of the guys at school even wondered how someone as lazy as Shikamaru was lucky enough to get with her. Okay, so does anyone have any movie suggestions? Asked Sakura. I got my mind set on a romance movie. Said Ino. Pass. Said all the boys, except Shino. I was thinking of something like maybe a drama movie. Said Tamari. Nope. Oh, I got an idea. We could go see a romantic comedy movie. Suggested Naruko. Boring. What the hell is your problem? Why do you guys keep turning down our ideas? Asked an annoyed Tenten. No offense to you ladies, but all those ideas are just too girly. Said Kiba. Excuse you, what's that supposed to mean? Asked an offended Tamari. What he means is that those movies you just suggested most likely involve a boy and a girl falling in love through some random encounters and scenarios and whatnot. Naruto added. Guys, can you say, chick flicks, joked Kiba. Which made Naruto, Shikamaru and Choji all burst out laughing. Oh really, and I suppose you guys can do better? Asked Ino. Yeah, of course we can. Choji said. So what did you have in mind for a good movie, boys? Challenged Tenten. An action film no less. Said Naruto with a smirk. Tamari, Sakura, Ino, Tenten and Naruko all shared some laughs of their own. An action film, that is so lame. Said Ino. It must have took you at least 30 seconds to come up with that. Said Tamari. 12 seconds sounds more like it. Said Sakura. Hey wait a minute, Shino and Hinata are the only ones who haven't suggested any movies they want to see. Tenten pointed out. Well I'm sure that my pal Shino is up for an action film, right? Naruto boasted while turning to look at him. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing a romantic comedy. He said. Hold on, say what? Asked a shocked Kiba. What about you Hinata? Asked Sakura. I want to see a romantic comedy too. Said Hinata. Naruto and the guys, with the exception of Shino, all groaned with dismay. Looks like it's settled, we're gonna be seeing a romantic comedy. Said Ino. Yay, this is awesome. Said a happy Naruko. Oh, and one more thing guys. You're paying for the tickets and snacks. Said Tamari with a smirk. What, why? Asked Choji. Because at the movies, the guys always treat the girls by paying for what they want. That's what you do on a date. This is just a friendly hangout, not a date. Argued Kiba. It doesn't matter, that's how it's gonna be. Seeing that there was no way around it, the guys did exactly what they were expected to do. They paid for the tickets, bought the snacks and went to the movie. The whole time during the movie, the girls and Shino were all enjoying it while Naruto and the other guys were trying the best they could to get through it. Halfway through, Shikamaru wound up falling asleep on Temari's shoulder. Choji just sat there eating snacks. Kiba slumped down in his seat while Naruto on the other hand just rolled his eyes and grumbled to himself. Of course that didn't stop him from taking a few looks at Ino, whom was sitting next to him while casually eating some popcorn and laughing at the movie. It didn't take long for Ino to notice the attention she was getting from him, and promptly turned to look back at him the next time he made another glance. But the moment she winked at him, he turned away from her with a slight blush on his face, which caused her to giggle. He's so adorable, thought Ino. What's the matter with me? Why am I suddenly blushing around her so much? Thought Naruto. At that time, an idea popped into her head. Seeing Naruto's hand lying on the armrest, she decided to make things more interesting. Reaching a hand forward, she gently and slowly placed it on top of Naruto's. This earned her a puzzled look from the young male blonde, a look which she responded to by shrugging her shoulders. But this time when they looked at each other, they stayed that way for a while. And for the first time, Naruto didn't even feel or show any signs of discomfort. Instead, he felt a warm, fuzzy feeling on the inside. Staring at Ino's beautiful face, Naruto began to visualize her as some kind of beautiful, shining angel. He didn't know it, but deep down he was beginning to see her in an entirely different light. He couldn't help but feel some form of chemistry that was building up between them at a slow, but noticeable pace. Unfortunately, it wouldn't last. Just as he suddenly started leaning in, Tenten interrupted them. Why are you two staring at each other like that? Asked a confused Tenten. Naruto snapped out of it and pulled his hand away from Ino's. No reason, I just thought there was something on her face. Said Naruto with a sheepish smile. Really, because it looked more like you were about to kiss her. What, that's crazy. Are you sure? Because it certainly looked like it. Don't be silly, it was just a simple stare, no big deal. Said Ino. He would have kissed me if you hadn't butted in Tenten, she thought. I see. So what did I miss? Everything, the movie's over. What? While you and Naruto were busy with your little staring contest, you missed out on all the best parts, including the romantic scenes. It's a shame too, you would have liked them. Said Tenten before getting up and walking out of the aisle. Shoot, thanks a lot Naruto. Said Ino while slapping Naruto on the arm. Hey, don't blame me just because you were off in your own little world, Ino. Naruto argued. Oh I'm sorry, I forgot that I was sitting next to an idiot who couldn't even enjoy one simple movie. Well excuse me miss, I must not have got the memo. You wanna start something, do you? As if. Hey, if you two are done arguing already, let's go, called Kiba, who was already standing at the exit of the theater with the others. Oh, right, said Naruto. Sometime after leaving the theater, Naruto and his friends headed out to grab some lunch. At Naruto's behest, they met up at a local restaurant in town called the Ramen Ichiraku, which was Naruto's top favorite restaurant. He was not only the restaurant's most notable customer, but he was also a good friend of the owner, Tucci, and his daughter, Ayame, having known them both for years. They were all seated around one single table which was big enough for all of them to sit at. After getting settled in, they each ordered some ramen and decided to talk among each other. Naruto was seated between Ino and Naruko while Sakura was seated next to Temari and Shikamaru. Hinata sat between Tenten and Kiba, with Choji sitting next to Shino. I am so glad that I get to spend time with my friends, even though a few of them aren't here. But that's good enough for me, said Naruto while enjoying a bowl of ramen. Naruto, we may be pals and all, but you seriously gotta start eating more than just ramen, said Tenten. What's wrong with what I eat? Nothing like that. I don't hate the stuff, it's just that I don't eat it very often. Are you kidding? Ramen is the best meal in the world. Nothing can top it, said Naruko with her mouth full. Oh brother, muttered Sakura. But one thing puzzles me. What is it, Tenten? Asked Ino. I wanna know one thing, Ino. Are you and Naruto dating? Naruto faces. Oh. What makes you say that? Because you two seem like you're really close with each other. It's not like that between us. Naruto blurted out. If you're not dating, then what's going on between you two? We're gonna be family. My mom is getting married to her father, so that means Ino's gonna be my stepsister. Wow, when did this start? A long time ago. So you two are gonna be living together? Yeah, it's not what I hoped for, but I gotta deal with it. But unbeknownst to Naruto, an unknown black-haired girl was watching him from a small table that was about 4 feet away. She smiled with intent while staring at the blonde male teenager. Naruto Uzumaki, you will soon be mine, that's a promise, she said with a sneer. About an hour later after lunch, Naruto said goodbye to his friends as they all departed. After dropping off Sakura at her house, Naruto drove back home with Ino and Naruko. Once they got home, Naruto parked his car in the garage and went inside the house through the door next to the one leading to the backyard. He walked into the living room and plopped down on the couch, followed shortly by the girls. That was so fun, I loved getting to meet your friends, Naruto-chan, said Naruko. Well, I'm glad you did. But to be honest, I'd appreciate it if you didn't call me Naruto-chan around my friends, it's just too embarrassing, he replied. But I can't help it, I love calling you Naruto-chan. I know, but it's still embarrassing. Right. Anyway, I'm feeling a little tired after today because of all the excitement. I'm gonna go lie down for a while. Is it alright if I sleep upstairs in your room? Sure, go ahead. Thanks, I really appreciate it. She gave him a hug before standing from the couch and going upstairs, leaving Naruto and Ino by themselves. Once Naruko was out of sight, Ino decided to break the silence. Hey Naruto, there's something that I want to talk about with you, said Ino. What's up? Well, lately today I noticed that you've been acting rather weird around me, and I think I know why. Naruto raised an eyebrow in confusion. What do you mean? She giggled in a flirty tone. Well, I think it's obvious that you're attracted to me, she said with a smirk. Naruto's face. 0_0. You're kidding, right? He. Oh, don't act like it's not true. I could tell by all the signals you've been giving off. Signals? What the hell are you talking about? You know what I'm getting at. I saw how you were staring at me in the theater today. Only a guy who's attracted to me would have the nerve look at me the way you did. That doesn't mean anything. Oh yes it does. Admit it Naruto, you're attracted to me. I am not. Stop holding back, you know you want me. Now you're being silly. So what if I was staring at you just because I thought you looked and? Naruto clamped a hand over his mouth after realizing what he just said. Ooh, I heard you. I heard you loud and clear Naruto. You just called me why? Ino pointed out. It slipped out. No it didn't, I know what I heard. Save it, one comment doesn't mean anything. Oh really? Yeah. With another giggle, Ino scooted over to him and climbed on his lap, taking Naruto by surprise as she looked him in the eye. What are you doing? He asked nervously. I'm gonna find out whether or not if you really are attracted to me. How are you gonna do that? It's simple, I'm gonna kiss you to see if anything happens. Before he could say anything else, Ino cupped his face in her hands and pressed her lips on his. But oddly, Naruto didn't feel he had a reason to push her off, nor even pull away. His eyes, which initially remained open, started to close as he began to melt into the kiss. He slowly lifted his arms up and wrapped them around Ino's waist, holding her closer. Ino then broke the kiss and looked at him eye to eye, noticing the soft smile on his face. "So, how was that?" asked Ino. Naruto let out a chuckle. "It was good, but maybe you could try harder," he teased with a grin. "Ooh, I like that." This time, it was Naruto who initiated the next kiss. Ino wrapped her arms around his neck as she deepened the "What the hell?" screamed Naruto as he sprang awake from the couch. "I had another dream about Ino again, only this one was more real. Why the hell does this keep happening to me?" he thought. "It's about time you woke back up. You dozed off at about 8 minutes ago," said Ino. "Yeah, Naruto-chan, you were out like a light," said Naruko. "Naruko, I thought you were upstairs taking a nap," Naruto replied. "I was, but I woke up about 2 hours later and came back down. Why didn't either of you bother to wake me? We tried, but you wouldn't budge. But anyway, what did you wake up screaming about this time?" asked Ino. "It's nothing, don't worry about it," Naruto responded. "No really, what's the reason?" "I said don't worry about it," he replied angrily. Okay, no need to get mad. HMPH. But while they were busy watching TV, Naruto was still feeling puzzled about the rather shocking dream he just had about Ino. Like he said, this one seemed a lot more real than the previous ones. But he still couldn't figure out why. "I don't know what's wrong with me, I just don't get it. But could it be possible? Could I really be attracted to Ino?"
That's all for now. If you enjoy this video, then please like, share and do comments.